Safe and sound.
What's up, people? What's going on? I almost messed up. I almost forgot to take off the banner, and I clicked it off just in time. How you guys doing in the chat? Thank you guys for popping in. Always a pleasure. We got a guest in the house. We're missing one tonight. Roberto said he'll try to make it if he gets home in time. If not, we're going to do it without him. I just wanted to do the show because it's the last week of Black History Month, so I decided, we'll do the show and hopefully he can come in when he gets in. But Mark with a C, shout out your channel. Let the people know where they can find you, sir.
There it is, right there. Mark with a C. Come on through. I talk about all the hot topics, my opinions on them anyway. And, always inviting hot conversation, man. That's a good thing. Conversation is good. Something we sorely need in today's world.
Absolutely. JG, what is up? Oh, thanks for coming, man. Always a pleasure. We may have some other guests coming up. I'm not sure if Nadia and LOWKEY is going to come. I also sent it to Brian from Spoiler King, so he may pop in when his stream is done. But JG, how you doing, man?
No, man, I'm here cooking, chilling, waking up with this fire stream we always have every Wednesday night on the O.O.C with Nzo, aka the Abbott, and the Osiris of this shit, the Spliff King and the Professor of Ganja, alongside Roberto, aka No Mother No Cry.
That is correct. And seeing as that the rest of the panel's not here, no need to continue on with the intros,
exactly.
Right? I was gonna tell you could have forgot about Roberto tonight too, since he's not here, but I'm not gonna do Roberto bad like that. You know what I mean? Eli said you forgot to add blacks are also supporting Trump because he's a criminal as well. Hey, that's what Trump said. Yeah, we're gonna get into all of that, the shoes and everything, because anyways, we got that stuff to go into. But go ahead, Mark. You have something to say?
I don't know if I want to get started on this so early. Is that what he said, though? Is that really what he said? I kind of took it as a lot of Black Americans understand what it means to be railroaded through this bullshit system. You know what I mean? So that's the way I was kind of hearing it. You know what I mean? So I'm not, this ain't no endorsement, but I'm just saying,
well,
sometimes you got to really put the media spin on things under the microscope, because both sides are trying to manipulate us right now. You know what I mean? So I question everything on all sides.
Well, I'm going to play a video from the media when they're talking about the shoes. I don't know if you've seen it, but I was just like, okay, so this is what they think about Black people, right? But Nadia's in the house. What's up, Nadia? How you doing?
What up? Welcome. Joe Biden told y'all how you feel about Black people. If you ain't Black, you ain't Black if you ain't vote for him. The fuck? I was like, is people really? And then no, they won't make it so bad. Hillary talk about some got hot sauce in my bag. Like, bitch, we don't care. Who the fuck? Let's talk about these issues. Let's talk about this homelessness. I can't stand election years. I can't stand election years. This shit pisses me off. I'm sorry. I came in hot.
Not to mention, Joe Biden wrote the crime bill that fucked up so many Black families back in the 90s. So much so that Bill Clinton had to apologize for it, for even adopting it. But that was him. He did that.
Absolutely. Yep. And if you guys don't know, Judge Joe Brown was doing some stuff online, and he pretty much was talking about how he was at some of these, Biden rallies, and Biden was just straight up racist. You know what I mean? like straight up Nasa.
Sure.
But I guess
He like little
that's when-
kids. He the way he interacts with children is weird as fuck to me. Y'all can speculate, y'all can say what I'm saying, whatever. The way Joe Biden interacts with children is weird as fuck. I don't give a fuck what time period he grew up in. That shit is weird, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I feel you. Did you guys happen to see Joe Biden gets older by the minute? Yeah, did you guys have what up, Chillmonger? What up, Basel? Thanks for popping in. But did you guys happen to see the I guess when they do those campaigns for running, the one Trump made on Biden? Did you guys see it?
Nah.
I did not.
Nah,
Okay.
I
Amazing.
try to avoid this shit at all costs.
No.
I'm not playing.
No. This shit is funny. Now, the Amazing Lucas showed it up on his show, so I'm gonna bring it up. I was dying. I was dying.
Here at the White House, you'll feel like the president.
Let me see if I can find it.
I was like,
I know he
oh
likes to
my God.
talk a lot. Okay, here.
Trump is wild. I don't know about Donald Trump Jr. I don't know about him, but this shit. Watch this shit. Hold on. Listen to this.
At White House Senior Living, our residents feel right at home. Our vibrant facility offers delightful
That motherfucker stay asleep.
round-the-clock professional care and exquisite house-made meals.
Well, I've been eating everything that's put in front of me. I've been eating all Italian food, basically.
And ice cream.
And ice cream, chocolate chip ice cream.
White House Senior Living. where
Is he?
residents feel like presidents.
Bruh.
Was that a legit Trump commercial?
Yes.
Is Trump
Yes.
really gonna talk
Wow.
shit? Trump, the guy that served McDonald's to fucking athletes, gonna talk shit about what Joe Biden needs. Please shut the fuck up.
Oh man, I
We
just
deserve
found it
so much
fucking-
better. We
Oh,
deserve so much
100%.
better.
It's
Yeah.
like voting for the lesser of two evils. I'm glad I'm not American. You know what I mean? Because
Well, yeah, come on, it's all bullshit, bro. It's like I always say, voting for the lesser of two evils, you're still voting for evil. No matter
for
what.
sure, 100%, 100%.
Yeah,
That's why I don't vote.
ain't nothing to vote for. I don't care what anybody says, you know.
So now that we did that, before we get into the topics and stuff, there's another one I got to show you because I'm always ragging. Well, I'll show it next time because I got to cut it up. But Abba and Preach did a video of what they do in our House of Commons and government, right? And I was like, oh my God. Like the woman said, Alberta's treated like a fart. And they flipped out because she said fart in the House of Commons. Not only did she say fart, they actually checked the book to see if you could actually say fart in the House of Commons. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, really? This
Yeah,
is what
okay.
we doing? This is what we arguing about. So it's funny, but we doing Black History Month tonight. So I want to thank Elihu for popping in. Rogue Comics is here. Chillmonger said, "What the fuck?" Mike said, "Trump has the chivalry taste of a toddler." McDonald's
Culinary.
all day. Culinary. That's it. Thank you. Eli said, Anti-Drug Abuse Act of 1986 speculated that anyone who owned, leased, or rented a property for the purpose of manufacturing, distributing, or using any controlled substance could be criminally prosed. No, I said, where's the funds? Oh, that's what. Oh, okay. I know. Yeah. That's it. Chelsea in the video too. Okay, because in the House of Commons, he says it's like what the H, right? He says WTH, and then towards the end, he says, "Where's the funds?" Like it's ridiculous that thing, man. I'll bring it up next week. It's ridiculous. Like we're not as bad as you guys here, right? Because we're just as bad, I should say, because our politicians are worse. Everybody hates our prime minister. Not only that is our prime ministers, we don't have 2 terms. This guy can stay in office until he gets voted out, right? So I'm okay with him because he legalized weed, so he gets my vote. But other than that, yeah, he's done bananas.
Talking about the dude that was in blackface.
Trudeau, yeah, Trudeau. hey, if you want to give Biden presidential immunity, no sweat off my back. Here's the thing. Who do you vote for, right? Do you vote for Trump or do you vote for Biden, who may not even, and I hate to say it, but may not even live another
There's
4
more
years?
parties. There's more parties than just them two. And if you worried about people living, hell, then they should have voted in Bernie Sanders for his old ass. Damn it,
There's-
where the fuck my student loan? Why the fuck I still got a student loan? Huh? And no, I didn't vote for Biden. Like I said, there's other parties to vote for besides Democrat or Republican, but everybody's scared to vote for an independent or a third party. Ooh, why y'all
so
scared?
were they
Shit, get in
supposed
between.
to were they supposed to exempt your student loans and you didn't get that yet?
Biden said he was doing student loan forgiveness.
I
No,
remember
he
that.
did not. I mean, Trump said he was going to build a wall. Not that I cared about that, but like he barely got that done. Is it done? Do I never cared to look at it because I thought it was stupid as fuck. But
Yeah, it's bad. Like as much as I like, Canada compared to America, love it here, but it's bad, especially with the French here in Quebec. It's just ridiculous, and it's getting even worse. Like for example, if you call Hydro Quebec, right, which is an electricity company, usually
they
hello,
they only
pick
speak
one,
French to you.
only French. Only French. You don't even have the fucking English option anymore. Usually it's like press 1 for English, press 2 for French. No, they
You
don't
know
even
why
have
they
that.
doing this? Y'all the only country that can get away with that shit. Cause think
I
about
know.
all the other countries that they got colonized. Them motherfuckers is not gonna stop speaking their language.
Yeah,
That's
we're the only ones that get it. Yeah,
Yo,
100%.
somebody when France had that big outbreak of bed bugs, somebody was like
Mhm.
somebody sacrificed the right goat in Haiti. I was like, oh, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, we crazy over here. The law says minimum age to be president is 35. Congress should amend law to say only between the age of 36 and 70. Oh, wait, GOP camp because Trump will be disqualified. Biden tried
Absolutely.
student loan forgiveness. The GOP cried and they had to pay their loans. So why should others be forgiven? Biden did student loan forgiveness for 350K Americans since last year. It's set up
Being
so
Dumont.
only the lesser of the evils can win. Listen, man. Hey, listen. When it comes to American politics, I don't even pretend to know it, right? I just know that I wouldn't be
I don't
voting for.
honestly, I don't think we ever got a choice. They just give us the illusion of a choice. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
I feel like everything in America is rigged, down to the basketball, football games, up to the government. All that shit is rigged. Like,
Hey,
I
listen.
mean,
There's
I agree. I agree. Yep.
listen.
It's all
There's a
bullshit,
lot
like
of
I
money,
said.
money. And that's
there's
what I
a
mean when I say rigged. Somebody
mhm.
paid for this shit to go their way. Like,
There's a lot of basketball players that have been coming out and talking about how the NBA is rigged and how the refs have these conferences where they send emails and like, okay, we're on national TVs. Jordan is playing, so he's not going to get that many foul calls because people are there to see Jordan. They're there to see Kobe. They're there to see Shaq, right? So these guys don't get certain calls, and it affects the game. Same thing with
yep,
football. So it's crazy.
Mhm.
yep.
But I
No
thank you
doubt.
guys all for coming in. And we had a few discussions we're going to talk about. The one I thought about was, were your black heroes growing up? Since we always talking about, kind of negative stuff or we're trying to fight racism or stuff like that. I'm like, let's do something positive and talk about, maybe people that influenced your life growing up and actually what are you doing to honor what they did to help you. So I'm going to start off with you, Mark.
Wow, wow. I mean, really, the ones that I saw in my everyday life would be like, my father, my grandfather, things like that. The ones who I actually had access to like every day. And
Mhm.
they pretty much like showed me, just pretty much how to be a man and not like hear from anybody else. Because back in the day when you were growing up, everybody was talking about, black men ain't shit and all of this stuff. And you got to learn how to focus past that, because you heard a lot of that. And,
Mhm.
here I am coming up. I haven't even had a chance to be a man yet, but I was being conditioned to believe that black men ain't shit. You know, you turn the TV, you know, you see all type of negative imagery and stuff. So it meant a lot to be able to look, you know, at my grandfather who came up from the South. You know, he was in World War II. So, you know, when everyone's talking all that stuff, it's like, okay, well, if you want to say that, then you're going to have to overlook these brothers that I know, you know, who are doing the right thing, who are not wallowing in like stereotypes and indulging that stuff, you know, even if they went through it, you know, because my father came up in Marcy Projects, you know, where Jay-Z was at and everything. He came up there. He was slim, you know, everybody calling him, yo, slim, yo, slim. But, you know, and he was one of like 10 kids, you know, and a lot of them fell by the wayside, you know, but he persevered, you know, got up out of the projects, you know, made it possible for my brother, my sister, and I, you know, to have a better life. So, you know, I looked at that, man, you know, but, you know, other than, you know, like the ones that the figureheads that we look at, like MLK, Malcolm X, you know, things like that, Marcus Garvey, you know, they're there. They're there. And I'm thankful for that, man. You know, like every day, you know, I saw the you know, the strong black women, you know, that were out there, you know, who were holding it down, like really holding it down. And you know, I just wanted to accent the positive, man, you know. So
Absolutely.
yeah, man.
Absolutely. What about you, Nadia? Okay, Nadia's not there. JG? Okay, there you go.
I'm here.
She's sipping, JG.
Nah.
Hey, sipping on that scissor.
See, no, I was sipping on that wine when we did the Gangster's Daughter review, but no, I wasn't close
I'll be
enough
drinking
to
the review too.
I just wasn't close enough to get to it by the time he called my name. But anyway, growing up as a young woman in the South, I spent a lot of shut up. I spent a lot of time with my grandmother, and I don't know. I just thought she was a great person. Just watching her make food from scratch, and it was like nothing to her. Like I'm just like, it's a random day of the week. I'm at her house because we ain't go to summer camp, couldn't afford that shit. So I used to go to my grandparents for the summer, and they wasn't like lazy people that just sat around and watched TV all day. No offense to people that do that, you know, whatever. Just saying. They actually did stuff. My grandpa did yard work, and my grandmother did housework. And you know, just seeing the things that they did, and just like watching him grow stuff from seeds, like that shit was amazing to me. Cause I'm like, what? I can grow my own food. I mean, and then like I said, watching my grandmother take those things out of that garden and make food, and it tastes good. I don't know. That's probably why I'm obsessed with food. Like I love food. And
even
then
turtles, guys.
Shut up. Like I said, I was forced to eat the turtle by my abusive boyfriend. Was not trying to hear that shit. He was like, eat the turtle. You know, I mean, it was like eat the cake anime type of situation. He wasn't gonna do all that though. But like I was gonna hear that shit later. And I was like, nah, let me just eat the turtle. It might be good. I like food. I mean,
food's good.
It was good.
My dad told me straight up he wanted to try chitlins. He was like, "Oh man, I would love."
Why? No, they don't even smell good after they're cooked. It don't even smell good after they're cooked. I might could taste, but I've never tasted them because they stank when they raw and they stank after they cook. Like, why do you want to eat that shit? Literally,
I had no idea. I asked him that question. But
does the shit make it more seasoned or something?
He wanted to try. He didn't mind it. Like, okay, so one time my aunt had this little. It's just a little jar of like cotton balls, but they're wrapped up in like, you know, women's nylons, right? And then she put a little fucking rope around it, and she called them pickled bums, right? So my mom found that extremely funny. And she brought it to my dad. And she's like, "Hey, look at this pickled bums." My dad opened it up and was like, "Oh, like he wanted to try it." You know what I mean? Because my dad was just willing to like anything. Like he would have ate alligator for sure, 100%. If they said, "Yo, my dad was," he would have tried it for sure. He would have tried it. So my dad was like that. He would have eat like all kinds of things. You know what I mean? But totally different. Anything else, Nadia?
Of course, I had the entertainers that I looked up to. That's only because I like to entertain. So therefore, of course, I would have entertainers that I looked up to.
Who do you remember liking the most growing up?
Well, Janet Jackson. She was just the way she performed. Just the way she performed, the way she danced, the way she captivated the audience. It was just like
what up, Danny?
Everything. It was just so beautiful to watch. And like just seeing that look on her face of enjoyment. She enjoyed that shit. You know what I mean? She still do. That's why she's still doing it. Because let's not act like she broke. She enjoyed, performing. I don't know.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. The hottest line out of any song I've ever heard in my life was "No, my first name ain't Baby. It's Janet. Miss Jackson, if you're nasty." I remember the first time I heard that, I was like, "Ooh, Janet!" Ooh. And every time I hear it, I'm like, "Damn, that's a woman, boy." In the way she did it in the video, Jackson, if you're nasty, I'm like, "Okay."
So, what about you?
That's
Were there any
joint.
celebrities that you looked up to, Mark? Any celebrities that you looked up to?
Well, I was going to get into the whole like hip hop piece a little bit later on because that's a whole thing that I want to get into there.
Okay, JG, you're up.
Well, man, first and foremost, my parents. My dad worked 2 jobs my whole life growing up. He really taught me what patience and consistency was. My mom having to deal with my crazy badass from my old childhood. Shout out to my elementary school teachers that made us watch Eyes on the Prize every February for Black History Month. To this day, I still do that. Watch a whole series of it.
Nice. Can you sing the theme song?
Know that one thing we did right was that day we started to fight. Keep your eyes on the prize.
Oh Lord, oh Lord. Yes.
Had to think about it for a second. Like, I got you.
Okay, that singing just dropped off like 10 viewers when you guys started singing, but okay. Go ahead, JG.
I mean, even the guys, there was one kind of Alvin. He didn't finish school, didn't have a great education, but he taught me what not to do growing up to make me a better person. So he would always do odd jobs like he could fix. That man could build a house if he wanted to by himself. He just didn't have the drive to do it until later on in life. But just like the Star Wars quote, "Who's worth a fool or fool falls a fool?" Right? So just you can learn from a fool if you pay attention. Because he will tell you what not to do. And he's a guy that I think influenced me to be a better person outside of my parents. As far as entertainers, I mean Michael Jackson, of course. Right? I mean, I was a huge Michael Jackson fan. I'm gonna say it. When he died, I cried. I'm sorry I'm saying it.
Me too.
But he was just he was so pivotal growing up because everybody wanted to be Michael Jackson.
My grandma died the same week. So she trunked him. I was like, no, I don't give a fuck about Mike. My grandma did. I was mad.
Oh yeah, in
yeah,
that case,
for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Penny Hardaway was a Memphis guy. Big influence. He was a person from the city that made it. He became big. There's quite a few others. Those are the main ones I can think of right now.
Absolutely. And it's good to see that so far, because I'm going to do it too, that we all praised our parents for the way we were brought up. You know what I mean? Like for me, it was definitely my mom and my dad. My dad actually was the stay-at-home guy, and my mom was the one that went to work, right? But my dad did everything. Like it got to the point where he would do stuff and we'd be like, "What are you doing?" Like if we had like an old dresser we were throwing out, he would take out the drawers, he would paint them, and then he would turn them into shelves and hang them up on the wall. You know what I mean? And then put all these pictures and everything on it. So
resourcefulness.
Yes, very resourceful. Very resourceful. I'm telling you, when it came to that. And he made sure soon as my mom got home from work, food was ready, right? And we were the type of family where we all had to sit down in front of the table and eat, right? That's what my dad did. It's like, you guys, we need to have this family moment, right? So you guys need to sit. We need to sit and table. How was your day? This and that, and have discussions. And I actually hated them because he would make shit like baked beans and then tell me I couldn't leave the freaking table until I eat these damn baked beans. You know what I mean? But he was always like that. And one thing about my parents is they treated my friends in the hood like their children, right? All of my friends would come to my house. My friends had sisters. Auntie Donna, they would call Auntie Donna, can we make fudge? Boom, my mom would go in the kitchen, make donuts, make fudge, make cakes with them, right? My dad would sit down and play Pac-Man and video games with us, right? We'd have sleepovers, and in the sleepovers, we're all in the living room watching movies and stuff late at night, scary movies. So my dad was really important to my friends as well, right? Like, I'll never forget one time my two friends were in the backyard. They were fighting, like they were going off. And me and my other friends were just watching them fight. And my dad came out and he was like, hey, what the hell's going on over here? And then he stopped them, said, you guys come upstairs. They came upstairs, gave us drinks. He may have had fried chicken, so he gave us fried chicken. And I tell you, we forgot what they were fighting about after that. You know what I mean? So my dad was really like the father of the community. It's like when their kids, when my friends would ask my where their parents, where they're going to Uncle Hodges, okay, no problem. And that would be it. You know what I mean? They wanted to sleep over, they'd be fine. When we had parties, the parents, like my birthday parties, the freaking parents are there, right? The parents are there, okay? My friends' parents are all there. One of my friends, and I'll never forget this, she took over the record player, right? And at the time, I was into like Lionel Richie, Michael Jackson, all that. Took over the record player, and she sat there and she played the song over and over again, putting on the fucking Ritz. She played that song over and over and
you
over.
Talking about the one with
Don't
Taco
you know
Frank
don't you
Sinatra?
go putting on the Ritz? Yes,
That was a catchy song, though, man.
Yeah.
over and over, like it ruined my friends, they were like doing their own thing, but I was mad because at this year one of my friends brought a cousin up there. She was fine, right? So me and the cousin were like all in the living room hanging out, like everybody's doing them with the cousin, and the fucking woman is sitting right there in the living room playing the song over and over again. You know what I mean? Like, she did not leave the record player.
She made you blue.
Facts.
Let me just make a quick point here, because
go ahead.
What you were saying though about, your dad, like when the guys were fighting and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I spent a lot of my son's last school year trying to get the school to understand that concept, because the way schools are, the public school systems here, it's like there's a such thing as a zero tolerance for fighting at all. Now, when you're a young teenage boys at that age, what do? They fight. It's like everything is always, about who's the alpha, and all that stuff. It's a natural thing. Now, my son got caught up in a cycle where it seemed like he was getting suspended almost every other week because I raised him to stand up for himself. So he would be like, Dad, what was I supposed to do? We used to be like this when he was a toddler, So it really used to drive me nuts when I used to have to go up to school. And I was like, where are the men? But actually, just real quick, this is a throwback to something we were talking about last week. Nzo, it was on Twitter. We were talking about the woman who came running up and whooped their kid's ass. It's like that's exactly what I was trying to get at. The point there is that we have to remember the grade schools, the middle schools, the high schools. That's where Karens and young black men meet for the first time. You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of times they will say that the kid is being disruptive. He's out of order, and the kid can't even process the mental games that's being run on him. So a lot of times they have no choice in their minds but to act out. That's what my son did. That's what I did when I was a kid, because we couldn't say, hey, you're being unfair to me. Hey, you're not being cool to me. I see you treating this other kid differently. You know what I mean? And so they do act out, they get disruptive, they get disrespectful, and a lot of times they can't verbalize it. So the point that I was trying to make is before you go running up there and whoop his ass in front of that Karen, you should be going up there as an advocate for your child, not as a disciplinarian. You do the disciplinarian stuff at home. You know what I mean? So, you know, I say all that to bring it back to the way that your dad handled it. That's the way it's supposed to be handled. You know, the kids are going to mix it up. You know, at that age, that's what they do. So instead of just acting like, oh, these kids are a problem and stuff like that, treat them like the valued people that they are. You know, bring them, embrace them. Look, talk to me, son. Talk to me. Tell me what happened. What did you do? You know, a lot of people don't know this, but those Karens, a lot of these teachers that you hear about who are abusing kids sexually, a lot of times that's white on black, and they don't report that side of the story. You know, so the answer is not always to just come running up and snatch your kid up and start whooping on them in front of her. No, you take them and you say, hey, what's going on? You know, talk to me, son. Talk to me. Now, if you acting out, and sometimes you just got to catch it, but not like that, bro. So
you see,
you know, that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, no. My thing about that is, again, like I said, I don't know the full context of the story. If this kid has been acting out constantly, right, I can understand a parent being upset like that and whooping his ass. Huh?
You might need to whoop that. You might need to whoop that teacher's ass. Is my point, because like I said, I went up there every other week, and let me tell you something. At the end of the school year, the assistant principal just pulled me to the side and she told me, keep being an advocate for your son, Mark. You know, she didn't, because she's black and everything. She didn't want to get in trouble. So, you know, she was like, I don't want to say anything because I don't want to seem like I'm being unfair. But she said, keep being an advocate for your son, because she sees that stuff. So that's all I'm saying. Be a disciplinarian, but at home.
But here, I agree with you that, you know, it may have been the teacher, right? Because my son had issue with teachers too, and I'll get into that later on, right? With some Game Boy and stuff like that, right? So I can understand that. But also, I think what I seen was a mom who was maybe frustrated because there's like, that's what I'm saying. We don't know until we know whether the kid, because you're right, it could be the kid. It could be something at home that's making him act out, or the kid could just be a bad kid and be acting out. We do have those kids.
How come it's always our kids though? How come it's always our kids though? You know, the white kids, they don't treat them like that. They don't treat them like that. They try to understand them.
Oh no, yes they do. You see some of the stuff I post on Twitter. Oh yeah, I see white teachers beating on these white kids same way. So I do see it as well, right?
White teachers. You don't see white parents, bro.
I can't say that I have, listen. But I do. I've seen it in person. I've seen parents lose it in the store, white parents, and beat their kids. I've seen it personally. You know what I mean? So it's not just a black and white thing. They do it, right? And sometimes kids get to this level where you have no choice, right? Sometimes you have to have that tough love, and sometimes you have to bust an ass to let them know you don't do this shit in public.
Hey man, listen, I'm not a hypocrite. You call my son to witness. He knows that I understand what you're saying. You know what I mean? We definitely had our run-ins. Not so much now because he's into that football. He's all big now, so I ain't trying to take no chances with him. But no, he's too old for that anyway. But you know, the point is that I'll just leave it at this because I know this ain't even what this show's about now. But there was a book that was out back in the day called "The Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys" by Jawanza Kanjufu. All right. If you look that up, you read it, he's basically talking about what we're talking about here. You know, where that kid and kids of that age, usually that's where a young black man gets his spirit broken in school. Like right at that age. Because when we're little, we're cute. But when we start to get like the first signs of manhood, that's when the teachers start to get a little bit funny with us. You know, and things get complicated. So that's all I'm saying, man. It's not, you know, we do well to remember that because now we know better. We should be doing better. It's not like how it was when we first came up. Now we have a little bit more information about mental health and how these school systems actually do treat our children. So, you know, we gotta be looking at it like that, bro.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes it's the teachers. I agree. Danny, your black heroes growing up from childhood, and what are you doing to like honor what they did for you?
Probably some of the same ones you said. I was a big Michael Jackson fan. Michael Jordan, of course, you know, was like my favorite athlete along with Muhammad Ali. They're about 1A and 1B to me. My parents, my parents raised me. My grandmother raised me, and she raised me with an iron fist. I was scared. I was more terrified. Her nickname was Handful. I did not want any parts of Handful. I did something at school. They said, "You want 3 licks? You want to go home? I'll give you those 3 licks real quick, real quick." I ain't trying to go home because I know what I've got at home would be 10 times worse than what any principal could give me. So she raised me, and because of that, I thank her. She died last year. I said, "Thank you." I call her mama because I never went to jail. I never spent a night in jail. I never put any kind of illegal substance in my body. I did none of that crazy stuff because I knew, one, if I was a child in our house doing that, I knew what I would get. And 2, I didn't want to see that disappointment on her face. Now, did I mess around with the women? Did I drink some alcohol a little bit? Yeah. But nothing crazy, nothing legal, nothing that I had to call her and say, "Mama, come get me out of jail," because I knew what was going to happen. So she is my biggest hero. But like everybody else, pop hero, Michael Jackson, Prince, all those people, there were people to look up to in the acting world. Of course, it's Denzel, the late great Chadwick Boseman. He was very inspirational to me in everything he did. So it's a lot of different people. It's a lot. We could be here all night naming the people that kind of touched us in certain ways, as far as looking up, being a leader, and a hero. So it's a whole lot.
Absolutely. And so, Mark, you just reminded me of something, right? Because you're talking about my dad. That's the way they did it. Let's not get twisted. Because my dad didn't let me. One time I was chilling. My friends were chilling across the fence, right? And, these 2 little white kids and another kid that my dad kind of had beef with the father, So I walked out in the back and I was like, "Hey, guys, what are you doing?" And the kid was like, "Fuck you," right? So I didn't do nothing. I'm like, whatever. You know what I mean? My dad came out. He said, "Hey, didn't he tell you to fuck off?" My dad said, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah." My dad said, "Go kick his ass." Right? So my dad sent me over there to whoop his ass.
Wow. I'm gonna show you how to do your first misdemeanor, son. Go right ahead.
I can't lie, my parents did the same exact thing.
Well, my grandma just said, "If don't start it, but if someone starts it, you better finish it." Now she did preach that.
That's what I'm saying.
Get your ass kicked at school. Don't bring your ass home. You better go
Yeah, he said,
don't let
him disrespect you like that. Don't ever let him talk to you like that. I was like, "Go kick his ass." So I went in over there and
I agree with Mark saying too about like the zero tolerance in school. I don't agree with that because there's always a primary aggressor in just about 95% of altercations. So if you can find out whether or not who's the primary aggressor, I don't think the other person should be punished because you would be a fool just to stand there and let somebody hit up on you. And with all this technology they have in school now, these camera systems, they could play it back and say, "Hey, look, Danny struck Nzo first. Danny was trying to walk away." And I told my son, "Look, if you start it, that's a horse of a different color. But if somebody push you or hit on you, I'm not going to tell you to stand there and turn the other cheek and be the better man. No."
Facts.
If you're going to go home for 2 or 3 days, we'll be all right. I say, as long as you don't start it and you're not in the wrong, you ain't going to worry about nothing. But if you're in the wrong, there's going to be some consequences.
And that's the thing, though, too, Danny, right? Because if you don't stand up for yourself, then they think you're a punk. And then they could do it all the time, right? So constantly they're ragging on you and doing this and that. Like, I remember back in school, man, there was this kid where we used to think like he was one of the toughest in the school. You know what I mean? Like, oh, everybody like it, don't mess with him. And he messed with this dude, Lonnie, and Lonnie whooped his ass.
I'm here to tell you, the right kind of butt cutting can change anybody's outlook.
Bro, let me tell you something. After he got his ass whooped, everybody in the class started talking to this guy a certain way now. Like nobody, like we are like, he can't even fight. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why were they fucking scared of this guy? He can't even fight. Probably because he just came up from Jamaica or some shit. You know what I mean? But couldn't even fight. And after he got his ass whooped, and I remember one time he was in class and someone said something, he said something, and someone said something back to him. And he was like, "Oh, well, because Lonnie beat my ass, you guys think you can say whatever you want to me, eh?" We're like, yes, that's the way it goes, man. You know what I mean?
Hey,
I bet you jump every time you heard Lonnie. I get Lonnie. Okay. I'm quiet.
That's the way it should be, man. you know, don't start it. Don't start with anybody. You know what I mean? But if people are starting with you, what are you supposed to do? You know, it's like I told my son straight up and down, look, if somebody's messing with you or whatever, I used to tell him to stop. Number one. Like, this is like when he was little, you know, tell him to stop. Number one. If they keep doing it, tell the teacher. They keep doing it, tell them to stop again. They keep doing it, tell the teacher again. They keep doing it, try to kill him. All right. That's what I told him. Try to kill him. And I remember my wife at the time, now my ex-wife, but you know, she was like, "Don't tell him that." I'm like, "Well, listen, someone will break it up before he actually kills him." But you know, stomp his ass out so he make an example out of him. Make an example out of him. You only have to do it once if you make it count.
I don't say hit to kill him. You hit to cause extreme pain and discomfort.
Keep in mind, I just gave this kid something like almost four chances. Tell him to stop, tell the teacher. Tell him to stop, tell the teacher. He keeps on doing it, get him.
100%.
And then the lunchbox and go right upside his head.
Facts. And then what happens is the other bullies, right, that who may be thinking about bullying him are not gonna do it anymore because they're like, oh, you know what I mean? He got those hands. Maybe we could think about this a bit.
And you got
I had a way of hurting dudes with words that made these niggas go crazy. I don't know why. I remember, I don't know, I had the audacity in me for some reason to tell this one dude, "I have no respect for you," and walk away. This motherfucker threw a bottle at my head. I'm like, "What you mad for? Because me of nobody, of no status, has no respect for you? The fuck?" Like, I was like, damn, I triggered him over those words.
Let's be real, right?
You don't know me.
I think
that must be a person from the state where you from, because I guarantee you told me that I probably bust out laughing.
Well,
exactly. That's what I expected to happen. I expected him to laugh, like not. I didn't even expect him to get that mad because I'm like, you don't even know me.
You see, here's the thing, and I think men get more like upset when they get dissed by a woman, right? Especially if it's in front of a bunch of other dudes. Like, you could just say the littlest thing that you may not think is disrespectful, but the boy is like, "Oh, she said that." Now the man.
Everybody was look when I walked off. Everybody was confused. Like, who the fuck is she, and why she even had a nerve to say that? Like, I mean, so I'm like, why did you get so mad? But like, anyway, I had a dude punch me in the face before.
Wow.
We was in, yeah.
Well, he came up hard.
So
yes, I did. I hit him back, and we had that whole zero tolerance. We were supposed to get sent to the office and get arrested and all that shit. But
did the bottle connect your head?
We were say what?
Did the bottle connect when he threw it?
Oh no,
he punched her.
No, not. No, this is a different dude that punched me. But yes, the bottle did connect. It was it was like an empty Fruitopia bottle. Like,
okay. Wow. Yeah, a lot of fight with dudes, eh?
Yeah, because I got a disrespectful ass mouth, and I'm like, but the crazy thing is they be swinging first. Like, damn, you that mad that you want to swing on me?
That's
over some words. Actually, over some words.
That was going to be my next question. He punched you. Unfortunately, was that a response to something you said, or did you punch him first, or like what happened?
Now this was a totally different dude that punched me. I grazed his shoes.
Wow.
He was having a pissy ass day, and I grazed his shoes while they were playing cards in the middle of an honors class.
Wow.
And he punched you for that?
Yes. But honestly, I think it's because I wouldn't sleep with him.
You see, now that makes more sense, right? You should have led with that.
but see, like, okay, we were in class together, and you know how little young dudes be, they trying to get the buns or whatever, trying to come see you, and I wasn't trying to get him no play because, like, why? I don't even like neither one of y'all, so why I'm about to fuck y'all anyway? So you know that's how shit went. What? This was high school shit. Like, this is how crazy this is. This was high school shit. Like, so yeah. So you know, the semester goes on. I'm still not trying to do no play or whatever. So I guess eventually he got tired of me being around because, like, what are you here for? You ain't trying to fuck nobody. We're on class. I'm assigned to be in this class. Damn. So like, anyway, so that day he got mad because I grazed his shoes that he had been having since like the beginning of the semester. So they ain't new no more, sir. But
Oh
anyway, I
wow!
grazed his shoes. He got mad and he punched me,
Please
and I
tell me
punched
they
him
were at
back.
least Jordans, right? Please tell me they were at
I,
least
I,
Jordans.
I guess so. I think they was J's. They was either
JG, what?
Jordans or Forces. Well, whatever.
JG, what are your thoughts?
Or what Adia said, or just in general?
In general, yeah, what we're talking about. Because you were like, whoa, 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 hold on.
I got lost when she started going into it. I didn't, you know.
Yeah, high school was
JG.
Well,
wild
hold on.
as
What were
fuck
we
for
talking?
me.
Because I got flabbergasted. What were we talking about?
JG heard
Uh,
not
uh,
fucking and said, wait,
fight,
what? What's going on?
fighting and defending yourself, and like,
Oh, okay,
what do you teach your
I got you.
children?
Okay, I remember I was in second grade. That was the first fight school I ever got into, and I didn't even throw a punch. He hit me. I was trying to get a ball. Went told the teacher. She was a little asshole. Gave both of us a disciplinary note. I gave it to my mom. First thing she asked me was, "Did you lose?"
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "I didn't even do anything but ask for the ball and he punched me in the stomach." He whooped my ass and said, "Don't you ever come home after getting your ass whooped at school." That dude's name was Terrence. He saw me every fucking day until I got my get back. I was a fighting dude from there that point on. That was the only fight I ever lost at school. And I said, okay, I'm gonna have an ass whooping coming, so I'm not gonna fight anybody else. Because everybody's got one coming. But
And it's funny
I
too,
agree
because
with the standpoint of
to be honest with you, when your parents tell you stuff like that, kind of gives you confidence too. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like I used to get in fights and think I'm gonna get in trouble, and it's like, no, as long as you ain't started, you know what I mean, you're good, right? So it get confidence. Like, yeah, all right, cool. So I know that at least I have support from my parents if I know I gotta, bust someone's ass. Yeah, that's what I said, Shifty. I said Terrence.
His name was
Okay.
Terrence.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, I wonder.
that's like
Huh?
me and my sister was telling my niece. She was talking about some little girl keep lying on her and stuff, and I was like, "Have you told somebody? Have you did this?" I done went through all the steps. I was like, "Whoop her ass!" Especially if she put hands on you. I was like, "We ain't got time for this because I ain't got
My
time."
big thing is this. I'm gonna get a disciplinary note or a suspension. I might as well fight and beat his ass. I'm gonna get it anyway. So why would I allow myself to get beat and have
Facts.
the same punishment? I might as well get my get back and just
Facts.
be
There you
done.
go.
I do
And
agree. Don't start a fight unless it comes to you. Then you got to take action. You got to do what you got to do.
and the worst is if you getting your ass beat in front of a bunch of girls, bro. That is the worst, right? You know what I mean? So, like you said, when you going hard, you better be going hard. And even if you lose the fight, but you hold your own, right? To the point where it's like, okay, he lost, but he still, messed that dude up, you get respect that way. But if you just flat out getting your butt whooped, yeah, that's an issue. But Mark,
Well,
you
you
were
know these
asking
stories kind
about
of remind me of.
go
Before I'm
ahead.
sorry,
Yeah, no, go ahead.
this is remind you of prison a little bit, right? When somebody
I don't know.
walk up on you,
I ain't never
you
been to
gotta.
prison, JG.
Okay, I
But
did 2 weeks. I did 2 weeks.
yeah,
So
you being
I'm saying,
Jack like that. I think you
Wow.
need some time.
There are so many parallels between school and prison. Look that shit up. The from what's it called? The school to prison pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
mhm.
That is so
Like
true.
I said,
So
when
true.
we fight in school, we were supposed to get arrested and taken to
Hmm.
jail whenever we fought. So I was supposed to get arrested that day. Like
How
I
old were
said,
you
we
then?
were honor students, so we got out of it. Smart
So
kids,
Hmm.
whatever.
it's funny not to bring that up before we go into the hip hop stuff that I'm
Oh
about
yeah,
to
we
get
were
into.
both also athletes too, so that made a difference too.
One
You know how
time,
they be like that.
my son was young, you know what I mean? And I went to go pick him up from school one day, and he was quiet, like quiet. I'm like, hey, how was your day? It was okay. What's wrong, boy? Talk to me. You know what I mean? I think he was like maybe 6 at the time. And he was like, oh, police talk to me. So I was like, wait, what? And he was like, yeah. So he explained the story to me that some kid in school had a Game Boy that got stolen, right? But because, you know, they have show and tell, whatever, Raheem has brought his Game Boy to school. And when it came, like, Raheem had every fucking Game Boy that was imaginable. We bought him every one there was, right? So when it came time to happen, I guess one of the kids said, oh, I seen Raheem with a Game Boy. Boom. So they called Raheem into the office. And when they called him into the office, they questioned him with the police there. So I went back to the school. I'm like, what the fuck? So I went back to school, right?
That's illegal.
That's what I said. So I went back and I'm sitting in the office with the principal, and I'm like, what's going on here? Because my son's telling me you know, you had police come and talk to him. It's like, oh, well, someone got a Game Boy. And I'm like, well, my son don't steal. Like, we give him everything he wants. He doesn't need to steal. And I said, do you know it's illegal to have a police officer talk to a minor without the parent there? And you know what she did?
Mm-hmm.
She shrugged her shoulders. That was his last year in that school.
All right.
That was his last year in that school. Yeah.
See, that's what I'm talking about. These schools are on some whole other shit right now, bro.
It's crazy.
You know, it's just like the Dia said, the school to prison pipeline is real. This is something that Dr. Umar talks about. You know, no matter how you might feel about him, I got issues. But, you know, as far as being a child psychologist, he's on point. You know what I mean? And that's when I listened to him the most, when he was primarily a child psychologist. But he talked about that a lot, man. It's like now, I mean, that's the reason why they have Miranda rights. It's like, you can't do that.
And some of the things he talks about, I agree with. It's just when he goes off the deep end, that's when I'm like, okay, bro, you got to reel it back. But when he talks about like us and what we need to do to be, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. I agree with him. But we were talking about the influencers. So, Mark, you wanted to bring up hip hop?
Oh yeah, I was just saying that it was something really, really beautiful happened with the dawning of hip hop, because that was the first time that Black men, especially, primarily, had a raw voice in American history. It's like we were singers, we were dancers, you know, we were on a chitlin circuit as far as acting is concerned and stuff like that. But when hip hop came out, for Black men to get on the mic and say, this is who I am, this is where I'm from, and to tell your own truth was powerful as fuck for me when I was a kid. You know what I mean? Because I was like, yo, they do represent me. You know what I mean? It's like I never saw that before. You know what I mean? So, and they told the honest truth. They didn't have to be perfect. A lot of them were rough around the edges, like we were and stuff. And we were just trying to do the best that we could do. So when you were hearing these raw voices, these, you know, and some of them are a little bit older, so they helped to elevate us, you know, with knowledge. You know, Rakim came out and was talking that talk, you know. Public Enemy came out, you know. So it was like all of a sudden we were getting this righteous guidance, you know, that we had never previously had before. It's like we had the old school stuff, you know, that our parents listened to, you know, all due respect to, like, you know, all the old groups and, you know, the Spinners, the Temptations, you know, all that stuff was good. They were talking about human emotion. But as far as making me feel like I wasn't crazy for being outraged with the way I thought the world was treating me. Like I said before, a lot of these kids, when they're younger, we don't know that there's something wrong. So if teachers are being disrespectful, if the world is being disrespectful, sometimes it could cause you to be like, maybe I'm crazy, you know? But then you start hearing from other cats, you know, from other places who are talking about how they feel the same way. NWA came out with Fuck the Police. It's like, okay, I'm not crazy. There's something wrong here, you know? So, and then like the sisters got on too. So you started hearing from, you know, from Black women who were doing this and they were talking their talk. And that was a very, very powerful movement, man. That's why I feel so strongly about where we've ended up today, where we can't talk about anything relevant to save our lives. It's like now these kids, once again, they're in a position where nobody talks for them. Like we had it with our generation. But how come they can't have it? You know, how come they got to have my booty hole brown? Ain't no young girl want to hear that. Why can't our young girls be? Why can't our young girls be queens and princesses? You know what I mean? Like they got to be hearing. You know what I mean?
I can't stand that fucking sexy red chick, bro. That drives me up a fucking wall. I'm sorry. It just does. I think it's so disrespectful, the shit that she does. I know Nadia is like there's a place for it, but man, I can't take it, man. I really can't. Danny, you gonna say something?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. You look like
I
just
say
wanna
every
finish with
time,
this,
ratchet representation.
Yeah.
Like imagine being a young girl back in the day, a beautiful, beautiful young black girl, and hearing "Ooh, ladies first, ladies first." You know what I mean? I'm a QUEEN. You know, Queen Latifah used to be talking that talk. You know what I mean? And it used to make the young girls feel like, you know, who you calling a bitch? Now I'm a bad bitch. Like, when did that happen, bro? You
Well,
know what I
Mark, you
mean?
got to
It's like
remember.
Hold on. Let me pause this for a second. Moira, we do not talk about Nas anymore on this channel, all right? We will not be
Don't
talking
do
about
that. Don't
we
do
will not
that.
be talking about
Don't
Nas
do
anymore
that.
on this channel.
What happened? What happened?
I did a Nas versus Eminem versus and got my ass
He
whooped over
lost.
there.
Like we told you were.
Yeah, bias, but what?
Nope, not biased.
Your
Yeah.
mistake was picking solo projects when I said his best rhyme skills is when he's featured with another top rapper.
Listen.
That was your
Dang,
mistake.
that was me with Lil Wayne. That was my mistake with Lil Wayne, was trying to choose solo things when he's better
Listen.
when he does features.
Listen. All right.
Like Busta
I
Rhymes,
played
too.
tracks. The reason why I did that is because I know you guys, especially JG, gets on here. Oh, all that blah, blah,
I
blah,
voted
blah,
for Eminem more than
and
anybody else did.
hold on.
At least-
Let me finish. Where you're like, oh, you don't like the blah, 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 and all the words that don't make sense. So I tried to find tracks where he's at least talking about something. You know what I mean? And I found something like, oh, yeah, these are kind of fire. But you guys didn't like it. So whatever. It is what it is. I'm gonna say it was. Yeah, I'm gonna say it was biased, you know, but whatever. Danny, you agree with me, right? It was biased, all right?
I agree.
You see,
Anyway, at least I
Anyway.
took accountability the one time that I did lose. Because I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care that Jodeci
Oh, yeah.
video. I don't take that as an L because I feel like everybody won on that one, even
Oh,
though
listen.
he did win.
I lost to Danny and I still don't take that L. I don't take that L either. I'm sorry. I'm like, nope. I did not lose. The chat was biased, right? And it was at the time. Yeah, no, it's true. It was at the time where they loved to troll me. You know what I mean? So they trolled all the votes and gave them to Danny. That's what I'm sticking to. That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm sticking to. But
not.
I think.
But no,
Yeah, go
with
ahead.
the music thing, I feel what you're saying about like having like to me, I'm like I like rap, but like hearing Tupac, that was a different type of vulnerability. Hearing from a man, like somebody so manly, but then hearing how much he loves women,
His
because hip hop
mama.
has a history of talking about how many bitches and hoes we are. Instead, but Tupac elevated, I mean, granted, he said the shit that he said, but at the same time, he made songs for women, about women,
Absolutely.
elevating women, so.
This we never heard. I get
That's the
around.
one about his mother.
I
That was
get
that
around.
was
I Get Around was the first Tupac song I heard.
Yeah, he had his
Especially that
share.
Dear Mama track. That Dear Mama track,
Dear
man, I cry every time I hear it.
Dear mama,
But you gotta remember too, and it's no excuse. I get into this with my sister all the time too. When she talks about it wasn't all good, Mark. It wasn't all good, and I'm like, listen, what you got to understand is just like I said a little while ago, that when a lot of us were coming up, we had to come up listening to Black Men Ain't Shit. You know what I mean? So by the time we did get on the mic, we wanted to say, well, bitches ain't shit either. You know what I mean? And it's not right. But that was the environment that was set. It's like we had Oprah, we had Rolanda Watts, we had all of these talk shows, and all they ever did was talk about how bad black men were, and we didn't even have a chance to be black men yet. You know what I mean? We didn't even have a chance to be black men yet, but we was already being told that we ain't shit. So a lot of us got on the mic and talked that talk, but at the same time, like you said with Tupac, he could still say Dear Mama because he loved his mama, and a lot of us who were saying the same thing. Don't talk about my mama. We might be on the mic talking about bitches.
Mm-hmm.
But what about your mama? Don't talk about my mama. You know, so a little bit. You know.
Oh yeah. So talk about someone's mama get you beat, bro. Trust me, those are fighting words. Like you don't talk about anybody's mama. But here's the thing I'd say, right? And your sister is right. Yes, there were good and there was bad back in the day, but we had a variety, right? If you wanted to listen to the fuck your, you know what I mean? Like you were in that mood to where I want to listen to fuck a bitch because a bitch just hurt my feelings or some shit like that, right? You could do that. You could listen to that, but then the next day you could go back to listening to Tupac, Public Enemy, or stuff like that. The problem with it today is, go ahead, Danny.
I remember about 6 months, man. My favorite song was "I Need a Gangster Bitch."
Yes,
Rest
me
in
too.
peace, Apache.
Every 6 months,
Me
man,
too.
I be singing that song.
Me too.
I want a gangster boogie with my gangster bitch. I need a. I want
to. He come up with this song, man.
Yeah.
I used to love that song too. I'm right there with you. I used to sing it all the time. So we had that, right? I just think now there's more variety of the ratchet shit, and especially a lot of the women are doing the ratchet shit, and you don't really have a variety of, you know.
What I hate about this generation or this version of hip hop, it's not a lot of storytelling. I can tell. To me, it's like a hook. They'll say it over and over and over. Some beats are fire, some okay, but some have this crazy. It's like they say the same thing over and over and over, and some of them sound so much alike. I can't tell the artist from one artist. And I just I like to put on my playlist, and I'm lost, immersed in the story, like Slick Rick, Public Enemy. I gotta hear that story. When I don't hear that, I'm like, I don't care. Now it's a few songs now. If the beat fire, of course I like the beat, but some songs you gotta have more than just the beat.
Here's the thing, though, Danny. It's not honest. That's the thing. It's like I can listen to some negativity. Like I said, we listen to a lot of NWA, you know, a lot of gangster shit and all that. If it's coming from an honest place, I can respect that. All right, but here's the thing, right? It's easy for people outside of our culture, outside of our race, even to believe the worst of us. You know, we cannot afford to believe the worst of ourselves, right? So I will never accept that it's a natural thing for Black people to rap about killing Black people and just be enjoying that. Now, Danny, I know you write rhymes. It's like I grew up writing rhymes since a very young age. That's not how we think. You know what I mean? Naturally, how you think is braggadocious. You know, you bragging about this, you bragging about that. You know, you want to get some ass, whatever. But when it's all said and done, you want a better condition. You know what I mean? So it's like almost every Black artist who's ever existed has come to a point where they had their what's going on, like Marvin had. You know, it's like people just wanted Marvin Gaye to just keep talking about sex, this, and, you know, and love and all of this stuff. He said, listen, there's a lot going on in this world. I got to do this. I got to do what's going on. You know, Sam Cooke had to do A Change Is Going to Come. You know, it's like most artists, most Black people in their heart, it's natural for us to want to do better, to want to give something back to the people. There is no way in hell that it's a natural thing for Black people to just continue to talk about fuck bitches, fuck niggas, fuck, you know, I'm doing crime and all of this stuff. What are we doing? We're talking about reinforcing stereotypes that are put upon us. You know, it's like that's what they said we were. When they first talked about Black women, they said Black women are promiscuous. You know, Black women do this. Why are we representing that now when we weren't before?
Because you get paid.
Not
people
all
are sellouts.
I agree with what you're saying to a certain extent, but some of that stuff is true. Some of these cats, they sell dope on the side of the street. They kill people. They
crabs in the barrel.
Do that kind of stuff. I'm not saying it's all, and I'm with you 100%. I don't believe all Blacks like that, and that become. But there is a percentage. I don't know what the percentile is. That what they're rapping about is true stories. They get like prime example. Today was a good day. With Ice Cube, I believe he actually lived that song.
Yeah, probably.
Well, he wasn't really doing no shit in that song though. He was just talking about playing basketball and you know what I mean.
But there's some more hardcore stuff where people talking
He
about.
said today he didn't have to use his AK. That means on other days that he has to.
Ice Cube
Right.
was not that
Yo,
hard.
hold up. Wait a minute. Cube never
Ice Cube
used
was
his
not that guy.
AK. He was not that guy. So
Ice Cube was not that
the
guy.
best. That's not the best
So
example.
I'm
right.
just messing. I'm just
But
messing.
that may be an exaggeration, right? But I think what to Danny's point is, you know, every day Cube has to maybe fight or, you know, show he's the man and this and that. And what he's saying is today I didn't have to do any of that. You know what I mean? Obviously, there's a lot of exaggeration in the
What's those
raps.
cats? One of them died.
Well,
there was a two. What's their name? One of them.
Mobb Deep, Prodigy.
Yeah, Mobb Deep. Man, some of their lyrics. I think them cats live a little bit of that lifestyle. I mean,
Mob was representing their environment. Now I'm from Queens too. I'm from that whole Queensbridge area and all that stuff. So it's like I understand Nas came from that, you know, 50, like that was the Mecca over there. So it's like you represented what you saw, right? And the fact of the matter is that Queens, you know, where I'm born and raised, Queens suffered a tremendous blow when KRS-One dropped The Bridge Is Over back in the day. It was hard to exist in Queens for a while. You know what I mean? So so Mob, Nas, everybody who came up after that had to kind of like show we ain't no suckers over here. You know what I mean? Because Shan got us in trouble back in the day. You know, by saying what he said. But so KRS-One came through. He did what he did, and
wrecked him.
you know, because of that, yeah, we had to have Mobb Deep. We had to have 50 Cent. You know, all of that stuff. You know,
he wrecked MC Shan so bad that till this day, that shit still bothers MC Shan, right? Still bothers him. I think he has an interview that I seen, like, it was a long time ago. I seen an interview where he's just, he's upset about that.
So, Mark, when you listen to Biggie Small records, you don't think he live a lifestyle? Like, they pray for my downfall?
Biggie went to a private school, bro. You know what I mean? It's like he represented what he saw in the street, and he represented it well. He moved with those people, man. He came from Brooklyn. That's what was going on out there. You know, a lot of hustling, stuff like that. I'm not saying the dude was soft because he wasn't. He was in the street. But I'm saying he wasn't doing what he was saying he was doing. He wasn't doing all that stuff. He was basically just representing a culture.
So hold on.
I think
like
he
somebody
did.
No intricate.
No, exactly, Danny. Because I think he did because Biggie has a song, A Story to Tell. So if you know the song, right, that is a true story. That is a true story. He went to the dudes. I think it was Anthony Mason at the time. He went to Anthony Mason. He was fucking Anthony Mason's girl. Anthony Mason came in the house. He pulled out a guy. That's a true story. I heard it from the basketball side of it. I heard them saying it was a true story. So I think Biggie did kind of live that life. Yes.
If he did that, that was after he became Notorious B.I.G. Trust me, that dude Big, he wasn't doing none of that shit back when he was just fat, black, and ugly, bro.
Well,
it's like he had to get
I agree.
First.
I agree, because if he's fucking a girl that's fucking someone from the Knicks, it's because he's Biggie and not just some fat dude from.
That's what I'm saying. Now you done took yourself to a whole nother level. You know, you know, even what you were saying with Ice Cube. Now keep in mind, I did a couple of videos on this. Ice Cube had his contract for Black America, I think it was. What was it, in the last election cycle, where people criticized him for going to talk to Donald Trump. But what he was trying to do was he was trying to affect a positive change. So this is what I'm saying. This is the natural state of being for Black people. It's like Malcolm X said back in the day, there's no shame in being a criminal. The shame is in staying a criminal. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, we might fall. We might be in this negative headspace, you know, at a certain period in our lives. But there's always this part inside of us that wants to do better, you know? It's like we're not just bad people. And we, like I said before, we can't afford to see ourselves that way because everybody else does on the outside. You know, we have to know we're not just bad people. Sometimes we're in bad situations and we behave badly, but you know, a lot of times we want to do better. We want to be better. That's the reason why when you go to jail, a lot of them cats in there will tell you, don't do what I did. You know, like I said, my father came from a family of 10 in Brooklyn. A lot of them went down. A lot of drugs, a lot of criminals, and they would tell us, you know, the young bucks who was coming up, don't do what we did.
Stay in school. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay in school. Don't do that.
I catch your ass out here in these streets. I'm gonna whip your ass. They would tell us this stuff, you know, because they knew. So this is what
ain't
I'm
no
saying.
more big homies though. Ain't no more big homies.
Or that community, right? Type of community where, like, if you're doing something, your friend's mom sees you doing some shit, and she's like, "Hey, don't be doing that." You know what I mean? Like, we don't have that anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Plus, the whole saying about crabs in a barrel. Crabs don't belong in a barrel. That's not their natural environment. And the environments that we're put in has a lot to do with why we do the things that we do and why we move the way that we move. But nobody wants to acknowledge that about the neighborhoods because they want to blame the people instead of the system that's withholding the money for these people to have the same opportunities as everybody else. Because look at the poor schools, look at the rich schools, and look at where they located and why they get money and funds. Shouldn't the ones that are not performing the best get more funds and get more aid so they can perform instead of less? Don't that make sense? But nah, let's snatch it from them since they underperforming anyway and give it to the school that's already performing well. That is the most ass backward shit I've ever heard.
Facts.
Facts.
That's
a lot of reasons why we have hip hop in the first place, because the music programs were taken out, you know. So that's the reason why a lot of us back in the day, we used to do our table beats, you know. We used to do our table beats and used to, like, you know, experiment with flows and stuff like that. That's the way it all came from. You cannot stop our creativity at all, you know. But once again, this is the challenge that's on us. Don't believe the worst of us. You got to believe the best of us, you know, because there's a lot of things that are going against us that we haven't even been able to identify. You know, there's so much out there. It's like Chuck D said, we're not the same because we don't know the game. The game's we're just now starting to catch up, just now, you know, but, you know, we're going to get there, man. We're getting there.
Never catch up.
And here's the thing, and this goes on to my next topic, because I think a lot of us, you know, there's people out there that do it to us, right? Like Black people do it to themselves. And I'm going to show this video. I don't know. Have you guys ever seen, it's an old clip, right? But I know she just did a video on it. And then I was listening to what she was saying, and I didn't really like what she was saying. So did you guys ever see that video of the woman in a restaurant and the two white women tell her to be quiet?
No.
Okay, good. All right. So I'm going to play this video. We can check it out, and then we're going to listen to what she has to say.
Quiet enough for you? Am I quiet enough for you? The lady told me to shut up. Bitch, do you know who the f is? Show me this.
No, I don't think she does know who you are. And after this altercation, I don't think she will want to know who you are.
Quiet, my conversation now, I'm on the phone. Is up quiet enough? You got hair like them them in LA, them old white ladies at the casino, they wear their hair like yours. They wear their hair like yours with the feathers. That's why I got so many checks. Bitch, don't you ever talk to me, ho. Wrong with y'all? Get out my mother conversation one time. Hello. I'ma talk, I'ma be who I'ma be. Blackest nigga in this restaurant. What's up? What's up? I'm still loud. I scream right now. Ah! Check, please. Why these hoes got bills, but they ain't Beyonce. Ain't paid none of them. They trying to split a check.
So you got the gist of what she said.
Her altercation.
I want to bring up her
Show some respect, ho.
It's Black History Month. Show some respect. When she showed the furthest thing from respect this entire video and this entire altercation, and for her to have the nerve to tell these two women to stay out of her conversation when the very basis for their complaint was that she was so loud that it was impossible to stay out of her conversation. It is truly astounding. surrounding. And this, my friends, is what we call weaponized blackness. Two people have come to you on a person-to-person basis and levied a complaint towards you that you are being too loud. And instead of taking in that complaint, adjusting your volume, you say that this is an attack on you simply because you are black. You are the blackest person in this restaurant. It's Black History Month. You deserve respect. Now, what many black people are deciding to do, and not all of them, I want to make that very clear, is using any moment in their life where they could take accountability and responsibility for their own actions to cry.
Let's pause it there.
I know this. No, hell no.
Yo, hold on. She is the next. She is the next Candace Owens. And I'm gonna say this, right? And then I'll let you guys speak. I would be the same way as that black woman. I am in a public fucking place, and you telling me to shut up, right? Who the fuck are you telling? You can move if you don't like it, right? There's a bunch of empty seats. If you think I'm being too loud, you can move. Who the fuck are you to tell me to shut up, right? In a public place. I've been to restaurants where it's a birthday party and people are just yelling, screaming, talking loud, and blah, 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 blah. If you're going out in public, you have to expect that. That's what I got to say on it. Danny, I'll let you go first.
I agree with what you're saying on that. Just for me personally, all that profanity ain't called for it. Just for me, but the right, like if you're in a public place, there's a certain level of decorum I think should be expected. If it's a loud place and there's like a bar or something like you say, I've been to plenty of restaurants and people are yelling, talking. If it's bothering you, then you just move away if you can, and if you can't, you just kind of deal with it a little bit. And I mean, sometimes you can look, and then like I said, sometimes. I don't know about so much today, but if your tone and your approach is right, then maybe you can, and you get a vibe that maybe this person is approachable, maybe. But if not, then you just got to deal with it, or say, hey, let's go somewhere else, or let's move somewhere else. But to tell somebody to shut up, if that's in fact what they said, it's totally out of line.
That's what I'm saying. It's like if you're gonna maybe ask politely and like, oh, can you keep it down a little bit? You might get a polite response from me. It'll be no. Right, but I'll say it politely, you know what I mean? Yeah. But if you're telling me to shut up, that's an issue. JG.
No, you don't tell another grown person in that setting to shut up. No.
Facts. JG.
Well, first of all, you're at a restaurant. Secondly, looks like they're sitting at the bar at a restaurant. We all know the bar is some of the loudest places in the restaurant to sit. And so I'm thinking they said shut up because it was two of them. I guarantee you that was just one woman, she never would have uttered shut up to her one time. Because it's two of them, she probably figured, well, I tell them to shut up, then she's not going to do anything to us. I remember I was at a grocery store. So I was at a grocery store, right? Going to the milk aisle. There's these two ladies, white, of course, but two white ladies. A woman looks at me, sees me coming, turns her back, keeps on having a conversation. I get closer to her. I'm standing right in front of her. She looks back at me, turns around, keeps having a conversation. I pushed her ass out the way, got my milk. You pushed me. You should have got the fuck out the way.
Wow.
Right? And so, especially this day and age, I don't know what she talking about Black history. Fuck all that. It's just respect.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't tell me as an adult to shut up. You don't tell someone else's kid to shut up. You let that parent, you tell them, hey, your kids make a little noise. Okay, let that parent handle that business. Right?
Facts.
Woo, that shit got me kind of hyped. Go ahead, Nadine. I know you're gonna go ahead.
I was hot too when I seen this, and I
pushed out away. That's kind of soft.
I'm more heated about little light skin over here talking about.
I did 2 weeks. I'm good.
Weaponized blackness.
Yes.
Excuse the fuck out of me. You creating terms for white people to use against you, but your black ass too, or half black ass or whatever, because they still gonna see you as a nigga. You still a nigga to them, no matter how much you tap dancing. You black woman or black appearing woman. So stop with the bullshit. First of all, second of all, nah, you don't tell nobody to shut up. They too loud in the restaurant or they talking too loud. They went too far and they probably said it rudely. just by the look on their face, because they look like they didn't care. Like, yeah, and we said it, or I can't believe she filming us. Why she calls y'all rude? And yeah. Until we get our reparations, shut the fuck up and take our weaponized blackness then.
Wow.
Get my damn check.
Mark, what you thought?
Before he goes,
Yeah,
look at
go
that
ahead.
picture behind her. Look at that picture behind her. That can tell you everything right there.
Facts.
Oh,
Facts.
The fuck is that?
my advice, right? If at all possible, never lose your sense of humor with a situation like this, right? You got to figure the two chicks who were sitting there, there's nothing they can do about anything. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna picture it's two dudes, right? If we're all dudes, and some dude tells me to shut up when I'm at the bar or whatever. Look, the choice is simple, bruh. Either shut me up or get the fuck out of my face.
Facts.
As I was saying, blah 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 blah. Now, put your hand on me. Now we can talk. You know what I mean? But I am not giving you all that attention that she just gave those women. It's like they're not worth it. Number one. Number two, if she keeps on doing what she's doing, she will end up getting undue attention herself. So my thing is you got to be smart about these things, right? Like it's like what I saw with Sandra Bland. I always said, Sandra Bland, I wish I had been in the car because I just would have been like, baby, easy. You know what I mean? Like I understand being upset, being mad, but there comes a time that if you don't stop yourself, you can end up, if you don't check yourself, you can wreck yourself. You know? It's like I remember telling a young sister this a few years ago. She was going off on her neighbor because her neighbor said something disrespectful. And I was like, baby, listen, you got to take it easy because she's going to go and call the cops. You know what I mean? And who do you think they're going to side with? It's like, don't, like you said what you had to say and everything, but for you to just keep going on and on, easy, you know, because they know they have the whole system in their pocket, you know? So sometimes, you know, it hurts them. It hurts them when they see that you know how to deal with them and you're not going to jump through their hoops. You know, you telling me to shut up. Either you can come make me shut up or you can get the fuck out of my face. As I was saying, there it is. Now the ball's in your court.
You see, I agree with you. She went like it just let it drag on too much. But I can't lie, I've done it too, right? I can't remember the situation, but someone told me something. I was doing something, someone told me something, and I was like, yo, who the fuck you think you are? Like, no, fuck you, right? And then it was just heated because I couldn't believe this person had the gall to tell me what they told me. You know what I mean? So I wasn't like pushing like on them like, but I would be like, this fucking person over here, like, what the fuck this person thing is? Like, I just kept bringing it up until I calmed the fuck down. You know what I mean? But
Robert Storms, Geeks and Gamers.
You know what I'm saying? Shit on Twitter.
Yo,
no.
We all at that age where we irritated by a group of teenagers, right?
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Okay. But we ain't finna go over there and be like, y'all gonna shut the fuck up.
Exactly. Yo, I the day I realized I was old is when I got on the bus and the fucking kids were making so much noise, it was pissing me off. I was like, look, these kids shut the fuck up. And then I'm like, I am now officially old. You know what I mean? Because back in the day, that was us.
And then real talk too now. You might not want to say it, but you go a quick assessment of who making this noise and irritating you. If that individual like you can give you some trouble, you're gonna be like, okay, yeah, maybe I can move down, or maybe I can just drown out this noise. If it's somebody you think you can take, then you're gonna have your chest out a little bit more. I know at least I am. I ain't gonna say a lie. I quickly assess the situation. Okay, yeah, if it's 75% or better, then I might try and bark. But if it's less than 70% and it's like he one of these young bucks, nah, I ain't
Man,
listen. You
know how
not without my heat.
Now you know how Bruce Banner in the Avengers, he said, you know what my secret is? I'm always angry. It's like I feel that way my whole life, bro. It's like my thing is, okay, you know, I'm the last person you want to start with. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm 6'5", I'm big as hell. It's like I will take out on you my divorce settlement, all you know, the fact that I lost my brother. It's like all of this stuff I got inside my head. You put your hand on me, I'm gonna black out on your ass. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of us is gonna get a real bad one today. You know, so my thing is I never like I said, I got to know where my boundaries is at. You know what I mean? It's like I'm telling you, either you can make me shut up or leave me alone. It's like if you put your hands on me, then we're gonna go. It's like I don't care what you look like, I don't care how young you are, I don't care none of that stuff. It's like either one of us is gonna get released from here today. You know, and either way, I'm gonna feel a lot better when it's done. All right. Either maybe it's me. Maybe I'm gonna go meet my heavenly Father. Either way, I'm free. You know, so that's just how I feel, bro. You know, but all of that.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Finish.
I said, but all of that back and forth, you know, she was doing, like I said, that could be self-destructive. You know, because those women know how to play that. As soon as the police roll up in there, what do you think those white women are going to do?
Cry.
Thank you.
About weaponized message. Let my black ass start crying. Don't nobody give a fuck. They gonna be like, why that white girl over there crying? Ain't nobody coming to my damn aid. They just gonna be like, damn, I ain't never seen a black woman cry. They so strong. The fuck?
Yeah, that's it. So true.
And like I said, I do agree. Like I said, like she could have handled it differently. You know what I mean? Or said what she had to say. Maybe even go for like, because it looks like she did a couple of videos. Like she was going on for like 15, 20 minutes. You give
I'm
that
surprised
like
she didn't get kicked out herself now by the staff because they like
right.
you disturbing other people. Because she like that, especially scream. Well, I guess she screamed, "Check, please." I mean, that like I said, that's a bit much.
Yeah,
but
being
a
little bit ignorant there and stuff
and it's
like
partially
that,
alcohol
right?
involved too. So
yes,
yeah, but
she did sound like she was a little belligerent. So
that's another thing too, right? Like, hey, when you under the influence, you're gonna keep going. You know what I mean? You may not be thinking properly, and now you're having a good day, and this woman just fucking pissed you off now, or this guy just pissed you off now, and it will ruin your time for at least for me, anyways. At least maybe a good 15 minutes where I'm just like, can't believe this fucker. Like, who the fuck this person think he is? You know what I mean? And then I calm down, like, okay, fuck it. But yeah, for about 15 minutes, I'm heated.
But see, just like Nadia said, this is where the strong black woman thing can work against you, because I was a EEO representative, you know, in my union, where, you know, if someone was unfairly treated or whatever, then I would represent them, you know, to get some type of justice, get their job back, whatever. And I was representing this sister who was let go. Like, she was harassed so bad, you know, this sister, she was pregnant, and we do a very physical job, and they let her go. And I was fighting to get her job back, right? And by the way, she was banging. Oh my God! Shout out to Terry. But anyway, the point is that she. So we were in the mediation and everything, and management was asking her. So when all of this was happening to you, you know, how did you feel? Now she just put on this whole defensive attitude. She was just like, man, I wasn't thinking about that. I wasn't paying that no mind. Now, management, they jumped all over that. So what are we even here for? There were no damages. I'm like, hey, no. You don't understand what's happening here. It's like, I was with her when she was crying. You know, I was with her when she almost lost that baby. It's like she was hurt. What she's doing now is she's being defensive because she doesn't want to give you the benefit of knowing that you hurt her. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of times, you know, a lot of times our sisters are used to being so strong because the world comes at them so hard, you know, but they feel it, you know, like Terry, I'm just using her name, but y'all don't know her. But anyway, but she was probably one of the most sensitive young ladies I ever met, you know, even though she was hood as she could be, you know, she would be that person that's in the video there. What the fuck you got, you know, and all that stuff. But, you know, we've been through a lot. You know, but a lot
most
of our
women like
sisters
that as a defense mechanism.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, and that's the sad part about it, because the world doesn't want to understand that. It's like, this is the reasons why they tend to be this way. She's one of my best friends. Even, you know, she's like I said, she's bad and everything like that. But we're real cool because of what we went through on a deeper level. You know, because I was
you know what I mean, Donnie?
You know what?
Like,
There
she
we
my
go.
friend. She
Plot
bad, though.
thickens.
She bad.
Plot thickens.
You know what? Yeah, I'm talking too much. But the point is that, you know, a lot of people they misunderstand what motivates a lot of us, and they take that strong black woman thing too far. You know,
They don't
we're
even
human
take the
beings.
time to care or understand. They don't take the time. Because they don't care. And it's sad.
And you got women
that's what
like
I see
this.
in the video too.
Yeah, and you got women like this, the one who's doing this commentary, just trying to bash it. You know what I mean? And you should be smart enough to understand like the situation sometimes. You know what I mean? Yes, you could say she went a little bit too far, but now you want to talk about, oh, she weaponizing this and that.
Weaponizing blackness.
I'm just like, oh, come on, man. Like you trying to be Candace Owens, and
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
my thing
we
is,
don't know
I
about
agree.
that woman.
I agree with everybody saying, and we all here are old enough to know the game. That the game is not fair. That it is rigged against our culture. And I just think maybe not in all situations. We have to really think like Mark. You gotta play chess instead of playing checkers. A lot of us are still playing checkers when the game is chess. And yeah, you're not gonna be treated right. Yeah, you're not might get that promotion. Yeah, you're gonna be talked to a certain way, but you gotta keep a level of coolness about you. And I'm with Mark. I mean, I'm cool till you put your hands on me. Then that's taking it. That's crossing the proverbial line. And then you gotta decide whether or not. I hope you can understand this, Jack. So you could understand last time. You gotta make a quick assessment. Am I gonna get my ass whipped? Am I going? If this person is, I think, tougher than me, I need to get this first blow I give them. Need to be the best one I can get, boy. And then that's what you need to do. But you got to be smart because we live in a world now that, like you saying, she kept chirping. She's still using that profanity and stuff. Cops get called. I guarantee that place probably has some kind of camera system. And they see all that stuff and chirping. And not to mention, she put her own stuff on Facebook. So all I got to do is go on Facebook and boom, there you go right there, live and living color. Yeah, they may have said something to you first, but you're using all this profanity and stuff, and that can get you in trouble. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's unfair, but it's saying it's the reality that we live in. And I'm speaking from a law enforcement point of view. I've seen many situations like this. And yeah, you didn't start it, but you keep going, and then you cross that line, then you got to do something because they're going to, like you said, they're going to come start crying. Oh, I felt scared and I felt intimidated.
I was threatened.
And then what you going to do? Because sometimes by the letter of the law, some places you can't say all that kind of crazy stuff.
Absolutely. It's just like, back when I played football, Brian, probably tested he played. It's usually the second guy that gets flagged, right? It's usually the one who reacts, like gets the penalty, not the one that started it, but the reaction is what usually causes problems, right?
Always. I was always the second guy. The second guy.
Oh, of course. I know. I remember one guy hit me. He started talking shit. I talked shit back to him. I get flagged. What was I forgot what flag was, but I did cuss him out a little bit. I cussed him pretty good, but ref heard it. I get the flag thrown on me. Like, so it don't matter.
Did the guy on the football field stand in front of the milk place and didn't let you get milk? What'd you do? Did you push him too?
It's when there's a place going on, and it's always the guy who wants to get a hit on somebody. And when they get the hit, they want to talk shit.
Now, based on what you said,
like you didn't move me.
I got to call you out. You shouldn't put your hands with that woman now.
You shouldn't have did it. Okay.
With my hands, I moved. I pushed the cart. That's why I pushed the cart with my
you
cart.
pushed her the hell out of the way.
No.
Is that what you said earlier?
No. Let me elaborate. Okay. No, let me elaborate. Okay. I pushed her cart with my cart.
Okay, I got you.
He said, and she can't. You push me. Kind of like what you said. They gonna act like I did something physically to her. No, I pushed your cart out the way. Got my milk, so you should move the fuck out the way. Wow. You see me standing here. I said, "Excuse me." You still didn't move, so I pushed the shit out the way.
See, you didn't express those facts you tell us now in the first story.
That's not that bad though.
That's why I was saying you didn't express all that.
Now it doesn't sound as bad now. I know I may be physically imposing with the person, but it's
and
to talk about this.
You look like you're a cornbread stealer. I saw you had the camera. I'm like, Negro here still.
We used to slaughter hogs when I was a kid. I will say that.
How many of y'all seen A Soldier Story?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, great movie. I
Right.
think I know where you're finna go with it.
All right, no, we're talking about CJ. All right, now
Mhm.
Sergeant Waters made it known that he did not like Geechees, right? He didn't like embarrassing black people, right? He made it his duty to get rid of them. All right, so CJ was, just a good-natured, happy-go-lucky type of dude and everything. He was kind of jealous of him in a way. And remember how he finally got him, right? They accused him of stealing something.
Yeah.
Right? So CJ was like, I didn't do that, Sarge. I didn't do that. Yeah, I got you. You're a thief. And he hit him, right? And then later on, when he was locked up, CJ is like, he couldn't understand it. He's crying, like, Sarge, how could you do this to me? I didn't steal anything. He's like, you know what? I know you didn't steal anything. We got you for striking an officer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
And and this is the game that they play. We overreact, all right? Because we know what the truth is. We know that we're outraged, we're hurt, and all of this stuff. But sometimes we act against our own best interest. So unfortunately, spoiler alert on a 40-year-old movie, but CJ ended up offing himself because he just couldn't process what was going on. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, this is how a lot of us get messed up. It's like, yes, what they did was wrong and stuff. All right. But our reaction to it has to be smarter. He put himself in a position now, he was in a cage. And I know there's a lot of brothers out there and sisters who mess up in their lives because they're not playing the long game. I always say the worst thing that black people ever say is, I don't give a fuck. Usually they say that right before they do something that's going to wreck the whole rest of their lives. And I've seen it with a lot of my friends. Think about what? I don't give a fuck. Okay. Next thing that you know, you messed up, bro.
Yep. That's first
You
thing I tell
got
them.
to think.
It is so easy to get into trouble, but it is twice as hard, sometimes triple hard to get out of trouble. So
facts.
You gotta make
A
sure.
lot of times you hear people say, a lot of times you hear people say, like you said, I don't give a fuck. I'm a strong black man. I'm a strong black woman. A lot of times strength is holding back.
Exactly.
That's
facts.
Strength is holding back. Like you said, play the long game, play chess.
Strength is
no matter
restraint.
What, I'm not going to. I make no moves immediately. I do nothing immediately. If I'm going to do something, first thing I do is walk away and I make a decision, and then I think about it. So now, is it worth me doing whatever the next thing is? Because you have a family. I got things to lose. Is it worth it next? Because immediately, I'm a hothead. I'm a football player. I am a hothead by nature. But now I have things to lose, and I know people know this about me. I have to walk away first. I'm not going to let anyone push my buttons.
And to piggyback on that too, sometimes you got to watch the company you keep and keep your circle very tight. And I give you a prime example. Me and Nzo talk about this a lot of times. John Morant, if he ain't 16 sharp, he's going to lose everything that his dad has worked with. I've seen this when they lived here, where I live out here in Sumter, the practices he did. I've been to his games. I see the investment his dad put into him. And he going to let a certain group, one of his boys, who's probably jealous, or probably like, I didn't made it, or whatever. Sometimes, man, you go as far as your friends can take you, then you got to leave them back there and say, hey, look, I got
That's another thing. People call you a sellout. And
Yep.
You're like, okay, you
talked about
sold
this
out.
yesterday,
You leaving us, like, bro.
About this yesterday, Brian. We talked about this yesterday on the show.
You have to make that decision. Like we said specifically, we're like, okay, so say you're doing well. You have a chance to move your family out of the hood, right? Do you take that? Is that moving yourself into a better situation, your family into a better situation where they don't have to worry about what's going on around their environment? Is that right or wrong? Because what you've done is you've taken the grit, the goodness of what you are. You've taken it out of that neighborhood. So now that you are no longer that role model for everyone around you. You're no longer there. For people to have reference to this is what the quality is. You're taking your top 10% out of that situation. You know,
you
and
don't
you put your family in a better situation, and you've put your kids in a better situation. But are you wrong for what you've done?
I said that yesterday. You don't have to necessarily live in a community to be a part of a community. You don't have to physically live there. And an example I gave you, like, let's say, for instance, you come into a large sum of money or you some kind of financial windfall. You could move your family to a better part of that city or whatever, and then you still can invest your dollars into that community that you came from, or you can try and mentor somebody. There are ways that you still can contribute to the neighborhood you came from in the situation, because every good parent, in my opinion, should want better for their kids. If I grew up in the ghetto and I had to fight gangs, I had to dodge this and worry about people jumping me for my Jordans or whatever I had, I don't want my kids in that. I don't want it. And I don't care if you call me a sellout. If I work hard and I did my dues and I pay and I could get out of there in a better situation, I'm going to do that. But at the same time, a lot of us, I see, once you get out of that, we forget about it. We forget about that.
Yeah.
I ain't worrying about that. No, you need to go back and pour your money, that if you're one of these athletes or one of these football players or celebrity or whatever it is, you need to try and pour back into your community. But you don't have to physically, in my opinion, you don't have to physically stay in that community to be a part of that community.
Yeah, I 100% agree with Danny, but I'm just going off the idea of what W.B. Du Bois says. I mean, once again, you've taken the best of the community and you've put it into a different community. You've taken it out of the eyes of everyone else. When you wake up in the morning, you walk around, you see doctors, you see lawyers, you see all those things. You no longer see that now. Has that hurt our community too much? You know, and I'm the same. I've taken my money. I've moved out of my community, but I put my money back into the community. I opened restaurants in my own community. I've given back, but I do know that me not living there has affected it in some way. And
I'm sure it has.
Look at it like this. Go on.
Go ahead, Mark. I was gonna say you might be an exception because most of you still in that neighborhood because you're putting money back into that community, right? Like Jay-Z said, take your drug money and invest in your neighborhood. That's how you rinse it, right? The problem is a lot of these people are moving out of those neighborhoods, and sometimes I don't fault them. You want to go to the neighborhood, you don't want to look back. Like dude said next Friday, when I got that check, I was gone. Remember? So you know, we suddenly will leave. You don't want to be a part of, right? Even people live in good neighborhoods. You know what I say? Black people move in, it's time to move out. Right. You know, we say that amongst ourselves. So
you know what I
think? There's no investment consistently in these neighborhoods to fix it up. I think that's a bigger problem.
Well, the thing you invest in is the same old thing: a soul food restaurant, a liquor store, a beauty salon. It's the same.
They build a gym for the kids. That's it. They're not
programs.
They're not building the after school programs, which have been proven to keep kids out of trouble. They're not coming back and they're not investing in the right things. Because some of them, they are giving money, but what do you invest? Where is your money going, and what are you investing in your neighborhood? Is it financial literacy? You know, because I mean that would help. That would help the neighborhood. But now,
why don't we
Brian? I think the argument, Brian, that you were talking about is one that goes way back to whether it was the right thing to integrate in the first place.
Yeah.
You know, now this is something I've talked about a lot in past videos. I said it point blank. It was a mistake, you know, and I think anyone who really thinks about it, and that's not to be disrespectful, you know, of those who lived back then and everything, they did what they thought was right, I guess. I don't know. You know, when you hear Kwame Ture talk about it and stuff, it wasn't agreed upon, you know, that was the right thing to do. There was a lot of political things that happened back then that guided that. But we gave up a lot of Black businesses to integrate. We gave up a lot of our educational programs to integrate. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, I feel that we paid the price for that because we gave up a lot of our dignity and self-respect as well. You know, we should have been showing our children what we can do first before you don't integrate from a place of weakness. You integrate from a place of power. This is what we have. This is what we have to offer. You will bow down to our industry. You know what I mean? That's the way they do it in other countries. You know, they negotiate based upon what they have. You don't go into somebody else's backyard talking about we need this and give us that and Black Lives Matter. Well, damn it, the whole world should already know that Black Lives Matter. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to come to us for certain things. So this is what I mean. It's like now you got to wonder, is it too late? Is it too late? Because I did a video about this young lady in Philly, and she opened up her own hair care store, and she's young too, young sister, and for the longest time, Koreans, they cornered the market on that. Now you got a young Black woman who opens up this spot, and don't you know what happened? Something happened where
They
the
got
police
broken in.
and they rioted and they trashed the store. They trashed it out bad. You know what I mean? And she's on the news the next day crying and everything, and talking about what am I going to do and all of this stuff. And she wanted to get into the community. She wanted to show what we're talking about and stuff. And the mindset of outrage, unfortunately, like I said before, it can end up being self-destructive if you're not careful. Like, we all understand the outrage, but somebody should have been like, leave this store alone. You know what I mean? For that matter, leave our communities alone.
That's interesting you're saying that, because I live in the South Side of Chicago. So what happened is 3 years ago there was riots everywhere. I don't know if you guys remember, they had strategically laid bricks all around Chicago. And then they tried to But I have a store in the middle of Bronzeville, which is historically Black area in Chicago. And everything got rioted. Everything got rioted, except for my store. Now, I was proactive. I hired a security company. I had armed guards standing around my restaurant, but also I put in the window Black owned. So you understand what's going on. And when I say everything, I mean the Jewel, Foot Locker, Walgreens, everything rioted. Everything. Did not touch mine. But I will tell you this, but
that's where you get that fire jersey from, Nzo.
But yeah.
You got the jersey off on the riders, and you ain't fooling about it.
I mean, Brian, you're all like 6'10", 300 pounds. They probably he was come after.
I would definitely. You're gonna have a problem. You're gonna come to my store. That's one thing. But
Donnie, that's why his store didn't get touched, because he was orchestrating.
Exactly.
He was like, okay, guys, we're gonna hit
this. Ain't nobody messing with you, bro.
Hey, come back in 2-hour shifts, and I'll feed you. He will get tired.
I mean, but it's weird though, and I didn't understand why we were rioting in our own community in itself.
I got a question for Mark about that. You said segregation. You think was a mistake? Did I understand that?
Forced integration was a mistake.
Forced integration. Yep. If we were to stay segregated, wouldn't that give them opportunity to control the information that now we have access to, or some of the information?
Yes, but you're creating.
I'm saying
you're keeping all your wealth within yourself.
So I understand that part of it. I'm saying when we were integrated, I think that we were exposed to some things, not all good, but I mean not all bad, but there were some good things that I think that if we were kept separate, we may not have access to. When we integrated, I think we get some access to some things and learn some things that we would not necessarily learn if they kept us together, because they were trying, I think, in shelter that information or try and keep it from us more so than they're doing it now. Is that not possible?
If you're trying to learn the system of your oppressors, yeah, I can understand your point. But if you invest in yourself and you believe in yourself, I believe that we could have gone farther. Okay. Absolutely. If we, because right now, at the rate that our children die, Black women unfortunately die the most in childbirth. We have to invest in ourselves. We have to be able to understand what's going on with us. It's like we have to take the time to do this. If we don't, nobody else is. If anything, it set us back, because the statistics are what they are. Like I said, our sisters are dying disproportionately in pregnancy. I almost lost my sister, by the way, with that. With her last child, her blood pressure skyrocketed. It peaked and they couldn't get it down for anything. Bro, I already lost my brother. You know what that was like? Talking to her and trying to talk her down. Don't be afraid. Just calm down. But Mark, it's not going down. It's going to be okay. Thank God they found a a combination of some type of drug to bring it down and everything. But since then, she's been an advocate, for other Black women. She's been on TV. She doesn't like me to talk about her because I talk grimy in my videos, and she doesn't want to be associated so much. But but she's like my sister is a phenomenon. She's a lawyer, she's a writer, and like I said, she's been on NBC, all of this stuff talking. You might recognize her because she's tall like me. So she towers over. If you ever see a tall sister on TV, you'd be like, that might be his sister, But anyway, it was a very scary time, and she talks about that all the time. It's like when Black women say that there's something wrong with their bodies, it's very hard for doctors to take them seriously, to say, yeah, let's take a deeper look. Once again, I don't know if it's that strong Black woman thing that comes up, but they don't see our humanity the way that they should. So it falls on us, or it should fall on us, to be able to see that. Just like with us, we're brothers. Why do we get taken down so hard by the cops? Because we some big King Kong niggas, you know what I mean? Yeah. And they just can't be like, you're under arrest. It's got to be like, put them down hard, you know what I mean? So that integration thing, that piece that I'm talking about, we have to establish ourselves first. Before, I'm not saying the integration is wrong. I'm saying that it was wrong at that time, before we realized who we are and what we can bring to the table. Because now they just see us as a bunch of sponges, Oh, you guys are some leeches. You always got your hand out and all of that stuff. Oh. What the fuck? We don't need to be seen that way.
Run me my check.
I'm gonna show you guys how they see us. Watch. I'm gonna show you guys how they see us in a minute. You know what I mean? But continue. Great conversation.
I want to say that I agree with you, but I want to say this one thing. But I don't think it's the integration part that really did it. I think it's the piecemeal that did it. So what you did is you gave it integration, right? We tell you we're gonna treat you this way, and then they gave you some voting rights, and then they gave you, say, access to live this place, and then they're gonna give a few the access to being a basketball player or music producer or anything like that, and you say that's the way out. That's the way you focus on things. This is the way you get out of your situation, and you can live like me. So I mean, I think they eliminated the actual villain. So no, now it's not just like it's not an idea who the bad person is. You can't point to that person. You made it more of a socioeconomic conversation. So and you've broken up the community, because what they've done is you've taken the 10% out, and then you take the next 10% out, and then the next 10% out, and then instead of trying to better ourselves, you're left with people that aren't necessarily socially totally motivated by themselves, and that's hurt the community itself. But I don't know if integration is the problem. I think it's one thing after another, hitting you with a few things, and then we fell apart.
Micro adjustments.
Yeah. Along with taking away, and then you take away leadership. So you do those things, and then you take all your leadership away.
Yeah, because we got no leaders. We had a discussion on that a couple of weeks ago. Go ahead, JG.
I would say that integration wasn't the biggest thing. I think we lost track of our segregational mindset. Look at any other community, right? You go to a Chinese restaurant, right? Who are most of the people working in there?
Chinese.
You may have one or two. You may have one or two others in there.
Not here.
But for the most part,
it's funny though. The others are always Mexican
up there.
Yeah, they're always Mexican.
Always Mexican.
Mexican, something like that, right? But what I'm saying is
cheap labor.
Kind of like okay, when we integrate this, but we're gonna keep this other shit to ourselves. We're gonna allow integration so we can get our foot in the door and see how you guys run things and take it back to our community and get our community up. Kind of like what you see what every other community does. If that makes any sense.
They also purchased all the land in our community. So it's forced integration, right? And then all the commercial businesses, they purchased all the land. So because in your community, I'm thinking specifically on Chicago, the South Side of Chicago is owned and operated by all Black people. The West Side of Chicago was owned and operated by all Black people. When integration came in and people moved out, they swooped in, purchased all the land, and then leased it back to us. So what do you do? What happens when you take land and you lease back? You've taken wealth out of the community. The wealth that was in that community has now been taken away, and now I own it.
And that's the thing. we don't own enough, right? But Nadia, you've been quiet. What are your thoughts?
About what I mean, integration.
What are we talking
just,
about? Everything. Go ahead. I know you want to say something. Go ahead.
I like what everybody's saying, and I like the conversation. I don't know. I just kind of agree. I mean, I ain't got nothing burning no hot to say right now.
JG, that wine is kicking in, JG.
I'm telling you, man. She sounded like that woman at that bar. I'm telling you.
No, I'm just finally sitting down. I was doing housework.
No, you're moving a little too much.
Yeah.
You don't move that much unless you got some of that wine in you.
I am drinking water, and I had a granola bar. So
there you go. There you go.
You see, and
where's that blunt?
You guys, just to you guys' point, though, right? One of the biggest issues is, like I said, we don't really own anything. You know what I mean? They all own it. So what they did is they gave us a piece of pie. Hey, you guys could be basketball players. You guys could be rappers. You could be this, but you can never own your own record labels. You know what I mean? You can own them if they're under us, but you can never own your own record labels. You can never own your own team. You know, and that's one of the
they're
problems.
still trying to keep us out the NFL.
What's hilarious before integration, when segregation was part of it, we did own all of it.
Yeah.
When you want to have a microcosm, what we're talking about is look at the Negro Leagues compared to Major League Baseball.
Mm-hmm.
The Negro Leagues, they were making so much money. They're keeping communities together. They were the best of all the best players were there. Now you had integration. You know what you did? You lost the entire community. Black people don't even play baseball anymore. Like all that goes somewhere else. They literally use integration to change everything. It's amazing how integration. Everyone thinks that's equality, and it's not equality. It is not equality. It is a tool, and if you don't recognize it's a tool, and you don't use it to your advantage, you're going to be on the short end of that stick.
Absolutely,
that's what I'm saying, man. It's like, we got artists. We have builders, we have so much intelligence that can be mined out of the community if we were just to believe in ourselves, but like I said, it might even be too late now, but there was a time back when the decision was made to do this integration thing. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I don't know, man. It's like, if I'm dropping my son off at a school and they're outside holding up watermelons and throwing shit, I'm not leaving.
I'm not dropping my school.
Yeah.
It's like, like I don't get it. It's like if like there were four young beautiful black girls who were bombed in a church, and I mean, I'm sorry. It's like, you don't integrate into stuff like that, man. It's like, okay, they don't want us here. Guess what we're gonna do? It's kind of like what Michael Jackson did. I'll never forget when he was shopping off the wall, and MTV didn't want to play nothing from it. MTV didn't want to play. They weren't playing any black artists, and they slammed the door in his face. And I remember Michael Jackson saying, "That's when I went back and made Thriller." And I was like, "Boom, ignore that, ignore that." It's like that's where greatness comes from. It's like greatness is like, oh, you don't want to fuck with me, all right, And guess what?
Made them.
Yes,
he made them.
Now they realized.
Yeah.
Now they realized they could make money off of this. It's like, we can do business right now. And that's a position of power. Prince was saying the same thing. When he put the word slave on the side of his face. I'm the talent right here. I'm the business. I'm the money. You got to recognize this. I'm not coming to you, talking about gimme. I'm talking about, this is the truth, man. And that's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
It's like,
that's the same point Kanye be trying to make, but Kanye be going off in these tangents and be fucking up everything that he be saying. Kanye be trying to make.
He had his mother. He would be okay. Losing his mother messed him up. Because if you knew, so my dad and Donda both taught at Chicago State University. She is so pro-black, but she was so profound in her way of doing things and the way she explained it to Kanye. Without having that foundation, it's just like any house. You can have a huge house. If you lose the foundation, it's going to crumble. And that's what's happening. He's still the same person. He lost his foundation.
Yeah.
And and there's a lot of people that are not ready to lose that foundation, especially when it's your peer parents, and especially when it's that early. I mean, it can happen to anybody. It really can.
Plus, he don't got enough people that actually care about him in his life
enough.
at all.
Yeah.
Period.
Facts.
Yeah.
Danny,
I want to go
you
back
said
to
you
the
had to
Michael Jackson
bounce.
thing.
Hold on a second, Danny. Yeah, go
I
ahead,
gotta
Danny.
bounce, man.
All
Yeah,
right,
I
shout
gotta
your
hear.
channel.
I just want to say, it's very, very engaging conversation. I enjoyed it. If you are not doing anything on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, please check me out on the Road to Wisdom at 7 a.m. when I usually drop my videos, just trying to give my perspective on life and different things. This is a very much needed conversation. Very cool bunch of people. Glad to be a part of it, and hopefully this can spark a conversation. Maybe that conversation can lead to something that's better than what we currently are in now. So that's all we can hope for. But
absolutely,
thank y'all for the invite, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming,
In
Danny.
the words of Mark with a C, rock on.
Peace, Danny.
All right, brother.
Thanks for coming. Go ahead, JG.
I was gonna say one of Michael's best business decisions was buying the rights to those Beatles albums.
Oh
The
man,
Beatles
that was
right there. Where did he learn that from?
Yeah,
he learned that from Paul McCartney. He taught them. That's why I say integrate and see what the hell going on to learn everything.
But
Take
you
it
have
back.
to use it. But then, as much as I just said all that stuff, you got to recognize what they did in the '80s to the community is what really put you in shambles. They piecemealed us. They gave us integration. They piecemealed us, and then they threw crack in all the communities, and that really rocked it to its core. So I mean, I'm not trying to say Reaganomics. What Reagan did to the community, the Black community, is probably the most damning thing. But
And
we
it's
allowed it to come
documented.
in because if we never did integrate, we would have stayed together a lot better because everyone would have been still in the community. Once you've taken that out and then you put those drugs in the community and then you have you start to jail everybody, and all the males now are jailed and
fucking up the family structure.
But they did that since slavery. So we were coming back from that. Even in the Jim Crow South and all that, we were coming back from all that stuff. But the integration did one thing, but then also, I'm telling you, the crack in the 80s did another thing, and then it's just broken down. And then allowing your top 10% to get more money and then not give it don't let the trickle down effect, that doesn't work. That's what everyone's mind is, the trickle down effect comes through. It does not work. So the poor stayed poor. And what they've done is now the gap between rich and poor from the 80s to now has multiplied by thousands.
Sure.
It's ridiculous. Sure. The top 0.1% of all wealth in America is like 1,000 families. Have all the top little bit have all the wealth, all of it.
And it's getting to the point where like there's no middle class anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's where it's getting to. Yeah, exactly. And to your point with the crack too, right? They never started their war on that until it started twinkling in to the Hollywood community and the white people started getting a hold of it. And that's when they started, like, it's documented that's when they started talking about the war on drugs, right? Because it started to affect them.
The Black community. I don't care what anyone said. They put the drugs
100%. 100%.
Sure, just like the guns.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's like we just talked about the riots with the bricks just randomly being around. All the stores. So like, hey, look at this brick randomly here. Look at that window randomly there. Like, come on.
Who's the hero we talking about? Chill. I know who you're gonna say. I know who you're talking about, right? Rick Casticella. Yeah.
I was like, where's my comic book?
Nah, it's not T'Challa. There's something. He's got something else in mind, I think.
All right.
Like I said this before, is that because when it was with Brian, we did the Malcolm X Black History review and stuff, and I said like after that I've been watching like all these documentaries and his speeches and these interviews that he had, and I'm like, we have no leaders like that, right? Like not even anyone with like the charisma to be like, oh, I could follow this guy. You know what I mean? We don't have anything like that. Martin Luther King, we don't have leaders like that anymore. And then the ones that are trying to be are so fucking corrupted. Like, why would you even want to follow them? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but this is what the CIA knew what the hell they were doing. They took what they do to foreign dignitaries, like foreign countries, the way they did disassociate them in their places and their parts of the world, and they did it on their own people, which is us. They did those. What do you do? You give everybody an opportunity. They say everyone has this opportunity to be this American reach this American dream. Then they cut the head off the snake, right? And then they introduce all these other issues to the problems, and then you pull all the best talent out of it. This is what you do. This is how you did it in Korea. This is what you do to foreign places to make it all a problem. And that's what they did to us, and we didn't see it coming.
And then you infiltrate the music and the things that you watch to keep people with a certain type of narrative, and that's where we are today. Go ahead, Mark.
Well, that's the point that I was making before about hip hop in the early days. It's like we didn't have Martin and Malcolm anymore, but what we had was Chuck D. We had Tupac. We had, all of these, even, when you, Naughty by Nature, you had all of these people, Naughty by Nature talking about Ghetto Bastard. We were talking about a truth here. You know what I mean? And right in the middle of that, 1995, we had the Million Man March. The Million Man March is something that history easily wants us to forget about. And I bring this up a lot because that's something that Generation X and millennials, we can look to that because it actually happened in some of our lifetimes, and the legacy of that followed. That was a very powerful thing that happened, where you had all of those Black men, and there were Black women, and there were actually some white people there too. I was there with my father. He took me, and just to stand there and say, we are going to be accountable for ourselves. We're going to answer. We're going to make it up in our minds to be more present for our families. That was the point of it all. Long live the spirit of the Million Man March. They were chanting that all day. It's like, I remember getting off that bus. Spike Lee had a movie called Get on the Bus.
Yeah.
It's like, I
I
lived that. I was that dumb kid with his father, in that movie. It's like we got on the bus, and everything. And we went down there, crack of dawn. I remember all of us walking towards the Capitol. Can you picture all of these Black men walking towards the Capitol, and we're singing, Mother, Mother. We just went down there singing, bro. It was so powerful, and you saw, when I was down there, I saw Public Enemy down there just in the crowd. I remember I saw Nice and Smooth down there, Tribe, like all of these rappers of the day, because we all knew that there was something that we wanted to elevate to, and this is what I mean when I say that, okay, we lost, or they were taken from us, Martin and Malcolm and stuff, but what we had born from them, because if you remember back then, almost every hip hop song played a clip from Malcolm X or Martin Luther King. It's like, what do you think that is at the beginning of Bring the Noise? It's too black, too strong, too black, too strong. It's like we used to cut up their speeches. They gave birth to us. The Black Panthers gave birth to the hip hop movement, the hip hop nation. That's the reason why they were silenced. That's the reason why we have what we have now, passing for rap music.
They silenced the Black Panthers because they were doing things and they were building the community up, and they just told us we're going to take all the bad stuff. We have gangs, we have all those gang violence, we have all this stuff, and we're going to make it part of us, and they're going to start building up the community. And that's why the CIA had to go in and take away the Black Panthers, because they're actually building the community again. It was
categorize them as a terrorist group.
Remember
the most dangerous threat to American security.
Who was born from the Black Panthers? Who was born from the Black Panthers? Tupac.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? So
but then
he
the duality of Tupac, though. I mean, so even though these guys, what you're saying, there are strong. I mean, Chuck D is great, but there are still a duality, because the gangster ideal is still prevalent, and it's been it's almost idolized. To be this is what it is to be a man. To be strong and no one's gonna disrespect me is what it means to be a man. And I think that's bastardized what the real concept is. What it really means to be a man. And they bastardized it. And you know, though you have some positivity from it, that and a lot of it comes, it's great. You know, I love Nas, I love Rakim, I love Tupac. I love listening to that stuff. Chuck D is amazing. Those, but you lost the idea of being a man is not just about I'm going to be stronger than this. I'm going to dominate someone else. No one's going to disrespect me. No, I don't care if they respect me or disrespect me or not. I'm going to be a man because I'm going to protect my family. I'm going to be a man because I'm going to protect my community. I'm going to be a man because I'm not going to allow you to come in here. And that's why I think that we lost. We lost that when you had that leader. They'll say, hey, look, we're not going to do these things. This is where we're going. We're going to follow these set of rules and remind everybody. And then when now you have all these leaders, and when it's too many cooks in the kitchen, sometimes you lose the message. You don't know what the menu is.
It is rough. It's very, very much so now because it's that false bravado, that you're talking about. But once again, I think that Nzo had Chill is acting up, bro. But I think that you had mentioned before that there was more of a balance, though. You know what I mean? Like, for all of the bravado and stuff like that, you might have had a more mellow voice like Q-Tip, or De La Soul. Rest in peace to Trugoy the Dove. You know what I mean? I made a video crying about that dude. You know what I mean? And it's like because they came out to say that it's okay to just be your normal, average, actual self. Not looking for no rah-rah and all of that stuff. It's like we're just doing what we do. We're chilling, just having fun, just doing that. But at the same time, there was a mentality of we want to be the best us that we can be. We want to elevate. That's what a lot of Native Tongues was about, And so like I said, and once again, Queen Latifah, people like that, Muhammadiyah, a lot of them were just out there just to say we can be on a higher level, and a lot of that got lost, because now, like I said, we're just wallowing in stereotypes, and it's it's really distressing because watching my 15 soon to be 16-year-old son go through it. Now he's coming out the other side of this now, a much stronger young man. But I remember when he was going through all types of turmoil, and I really had to guide him through that. Like, how should I be? What should I be? Should I be this thug? Should I be this gangster? I'm getting in fights. I'm getting suspended every other day. And I had to keep telling him, son, you're good. If I could bring him in here now, he'd say the thing that I say to him all the time. It's the world is crazy. Don't get to thinking that you're crazy. Don't get to thinking that you want to die. You know what I mean? You have a right to be here. You have a right to exist. It's these people who's fucking it up for everybody. Don't take it out on yourself because let's say that you off yourself. The world is still going to be fucked up. It's just going to be fucked up and you won't be here. And I want you here.
Facts. And it's one of the things Roberto says all the times, like at this point, what is normal? You know what I mean? Because what they're showing us and what they put out there, it just doesn't, it's not normal. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. We got to be able to, educate our people and let them know once you have that great family value, I think, our kids will be fine. And that's why I have this one, because you said stereotypes. I want to bring this one up to you because if this isn't a fucking stereotype, listen to this shit.
Sneaker thing. I was on social media last night. Very interesting as you see Black support eroding from Joe Biden. This is connecting with Black America because they love sneakers. They're into sneakers. Love this is a big deal. Certainly in the inner city.
Them ugly shoes.
Roll out his sneaker line. They're like, wait a minute, this is cool. He's reaching the level that defies and is above politics. The culture always trumps politics, and Trump understands culture like no politician I've ever seen.
Question for you on that point, though.
Yeah.
Will the people that are excited about the sneakers and excited about Donald Trump, will that translate into them going out and voting for Donald Trump?
Well, anybody willing to put $400 down for a pair of sneakers? Yeah, I think that's commitment and love. It's something.
Right.
Ain't nobody willing to put $400 down for them ugly ass shoes.
Hold on. Let me say something. I kind of wish I knew about that before, because those fucking things are selling for $3,000 a pair.
See, that's the only reason people is gonna buy them is to resell them for a ridiculous amount of price. Ain't nobody want them shoes. Ain't nobody wearing them. And if people do want them, they're gonna pay about $3,000 for them. And who wants? I don't.
Okay, now I gotta say that
Still not voting for him.
Fatal J, shout out to my brother Fatal J. He's the bravest man and the most honest man in the world, because he told me a few days ago he thought them joints were dope, and he's saying it right now in front of all of you, right? And where he's saying I wouldn't wear them, but they look dope though. I would flip them on eBay. See, there you go. You know what I mean? There you go. Keep it real, Fatal.
I feel like they could have been done better. They look like they spray painted. They look like a DIY job. I'm not.
I don't give a fuck what they look like. If I had known them things were going for $3,000, I would have bought 5. I would have bought 5 pair one time.
Why not?
I ain't
You
putting
know
a
what I mean?
damn dollar in Donald Trump's freaking pocket. So that's not a dollar, not a penny. And they're like, look, I'll give you a room in the damn Trump Towers for a penny. I will put that shit on fire and throw it at him. Like, there's no way that I'm giving him a damn dollar of my money. Just not.
You see, I feel you, but if I know it's gonna benefit me, oh yeah, fuck it. Like, you know what? You can have a little $600. I know I'm getting $3,000 a pair. Oh yeah, 100%. You
That's
know,
an entrepreneur. That's a hustler spirit. I got you.
Facts, 100%. Yeah. But the point of the video was, this is how they see us. They think because he brought out this good pair of shoes that black people are going to be like, oh, let's go vote for Donald Trump now because we got these gold shoes. Are you kidding me?
Fat Joe bought a pair.
Yeah, I know. I seen that.
One day he black, one day Puerto Rican, one day
that's
I don't know what the hell
that's
he is.
exactly what I was about to say. I was about to say, but he ain't black though. When he bought a pair.
Hey, no, I mean, come on. Puerto Rican is as close you can get to being black. I don't know, man.
I don't know. Cuba's pretty close, bro.
But you remember how Donald Trump treated Puerto Rico when they was in the middle of a crisis, but then you gonna go buy some shoes to support this man. Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
We talked about, you said the Puerto Rican, right? And I had to post this because my first reaction was like, fuck.
They do top fire though. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay, now.
Right now, they'll put the taps right
Damn, y'all act like Nike don't sell gold shoes. God. Puma, somebody.
Yeah, but they not the T Trumps though, man. They not the Trumps. They're not the T Forces, man.
Look,
You got the T Force ones. First edition.
This is where we're gonna act like Donald Trump wasn't a hip hop fixture for years.
Yeah,
back in the day. All right. So he was actually a hip hop hero. Almost everybody name checked him in their rhymes. You know, from Wu-Tang to everybody. You know,
what was home? Yeah, what was home dude? What was home dude that died?
I like
what
this.
Was his name?
The
Matt
Tax
Miller.
Invasion 5.
Matt Miller's first like breakout song was called Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, you know, he had what was the show that he was on? The Apprentice. You know, it's like he was a celebrity. It wasn't until he got into the political thing that, you know, all of a sudden, I mean, Jesse Jackson was shaking his hand and making speeches about him.
In
back
the
in the
90s, he was a super Democrat. He was a Democrat with an S on his chest. That's what he had a cape in the.
Remember, he said in an interview that if he would ever run, he would have to run as a Republican.
The problem,
he said that, because he said they're stupid and they'll follow anything. I can just make them think anything.
The problem is, and I've said this before because I was never. You guys remember, this is the same guy who said the Central Park 5 were guilty, even though they came out with the person that he said they're still guilty, right? That's why whenever these guys would say his name, I'm like, you guys don't know the person you're talking about, right? Him and his father actually went to court and lost because they weren't renting to black people.
Yes,
right.
Of course, they were slumlords. Slumlords. That's what they made their money from.
Yeah. So I agree with you that his name was but I'm like, you guys are fools for calling out his name like that.
Well, that was when he lost me, the Central Park 5 thing. You know what I mean? Because that was around the time I was running in them streets, man. And it's like, I was like, yo, the way that story came out, I knew there was something wrong, you know, as
Facts.
far as the way they got railroaded through. Like I said, I was around that area. It could have been me, you know. So I felt some kind of way when he took out a full page ad. I think it was, what was it, in the Times, the Post, or something like that. And I was like, yo, this dude is dirty. You know what I mean? I was so upset about that, you know, but yeah, unfortunately, that's right. You know, that is true. You know, so that's something you can't forget about. Like I said, he was a hip hop fixture for a long time. But you know, when he did that, man, I don't know, the love was kind of not there after that.
Right. And
I
for
would
me,
say
like,
I don't think people don't like it too much, but
go ahead.
I think that the biggest problem is really that we've allowed the idea of community to be taken over by individualism. So if the American dream is an individual dream, right? So that's what you did. You giving someone a dream that's so individualistic that it's not about, if I do something this harms my community or harms, you know, my race or anything. They don't care about that because it helps me. So you've taken that idea away. You've given this total individualistic idea, and then you told everybody it's no longer about race, it's about socioeconomics. But when you get up to that point, you start to realize socioeconomics is about race, and then even when you're in that point, they're going to keep you down because they can't let you get too high, because we're not going to allow you to be in the point of power. So like, it's
the obstacle is definitely going to be there, bro. You know, I remember my grandfather talk about their generation and stuff. My grandfather was in a huge family, you know, lots of brothers, lots of sisters, and they kept books. They actually kept books of their finances, like the whole family.
Yes.
Once they got to be adults, if anybody needed help or whatever, they were actually able to pool their resources. I think one of the things that we do too, that we shouldn't do too much of, is we put our kids out at a golden age. You know, once they like hit 18, get out.
Get
You know
out
what I'm
my
saying?
house.
It's like, yeah, I know for a fact that there are a lot of other people out there, they keep their kids close. You know what I mean? It's like, I knew a family back on Long Island, and they owned a whole 2 blocks. You know, like the whole family, they were all there. They owned it. You know, and this is generational wealth happening here, because now they pass it on to their kids, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. You know, so because we are actually behind by a couple of generations, you know, it probably behoove us to kind of think the same way. It's like, don't just kick the kid out at 18 years old and just say, all right, go ahead, do your thing. You know, sometimes you do need to, you know, keep them close.
Yeah, but you also need rules, and there's too many young black men that don't like listening to the rules. I'm going to be totally against anything. If you tell me I'm going to go left, I'm going to go right. I mean, to my own self be true. I'm not sitting there trying to pretend like I wasn't that dude either. You know, you tell me my dad's probably the greatest fixture in my entire life. He and my uncles are unbelievable how important they are in my life. And even growing up, I mean, I saw success, and he told me to do something, go left, I would go right immediately, because that was just what it was. You know, but he still held me close. He gave me time to mature, and then now that's how you really do make sure there's no one they don't fall. You keep them close, you keep them together, and then you put them in a place where they can stay there on 2 feet, and now you can go take off. And that's how you kind of get that wealth started.
And to your point too, you gotta also let them make their own mistakes, right? They gotta learn from their own mistakes, because just you telling them it's gonna be like, oh, you don't know, you're old, it's different. Things are, and like, it may seem different, but the same stuff you going through, I went through. You know what I mean? My father went through it. You know what I mean? But it's like, I was that way too. Like, I can't lie. My dad told me, I'm like, Dad, you don't know, it's a different generation, blah, blah. You know, okay, you'll see one day, right? And I tell my son that you'll see one day, things may seem different, but in the long run, everything is the same, man. The time repeats itself. You know what I mean? And that's what's happening now. You know,
But if you're successful, it's easier to do it when you're successful. Because I was messing up at something, and I looked at my dad, and I was like, oh crap, look at him doing well. Maybe I should have been listening. You know, maybe I should be. Oh, you know, I'm at home. I'm still at home. He going on vacation by himself. He's like, oh, I went on vacation. Man, how come I can't go on vacation? well, maybe
Absolutely.
maybe I should have listened. You need to see these things.
Absolutely.
Leading by example. That's what's up.
100%.
You got to do that, man. Yep.
And that's what we as black men need to do more, right? That's why when you guys see my Twitter, like you see right now, all I be tweeting out is all this bullshit propaganda that they be saying about us because I'm fed up with it. You know what I mean? I'm like, bro, like straight up video lying about, 80%, or it was some kind of like we kill 300,000 white men in a year. That's what the video said. And I'm like, what the? Like, what is this bullshit? Fatal commented on it. I'm like, what is this bull crap?
They kill 600,000 white men in so
you know what I mean?
Yo, check it, bro. I feel you on that. If you look at my channel now, I probably haven't done a video in about 10 days or so. Sometimes you gotta fall back. It goes back to what I was talking about before about the initial reaction sometimes can be self-destructive. You know what I mean? Like I know it's against my character to go on videos unleashing a tirade about this and that. My approach is more it's more subtle, it's more humorous, if you know, like my tone is more mocking, right? So it's like I see all of this stuff that's been going on Twitter or X or whatever, and honestly it is pissing me the fuck off. You know what I mean? So my thing is, let me fall back for a minute and figure out my next approach. It's like I always make my point for those who will hear it, but it's never going to be I'm reacting off of you. You know what I mean? Because now you're taking me off of where I am, and I'm not giving anybody that type of power over me. It's like we're going to dance to my music, you know.
So,
and what they're doing on Twitter and on social media is they're calling for the extermination of black people, and they don't want to say it. They're making a case against us the same way that other people have made a case against other people who were targeted for extermination. You can't even say those people's names without risking your stream. So I can't say it. And this is the point that I was trying to what Nadia was saying about Kanye. Kanye was making a very strong point when he said something about a woman of a certain religious faith and called her a hoe. Everybody made him apologize. But black people, we can get called bitches and hoes all the time, and nobody says anything. Like I received the point that man was trying to make, you know. So sometimes you do got to fall back.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah, just hold that one more time because I want to say, and that's the thing. I don't want because he's like, don't give them attention, right? My point is to get people to fucking be mad at it too and want to stop it, right? Because I've said this many times. The community, the LBG community, the reason why you can't hate on them is because they fought it, right? Anytime you make one racial slur or anything against them, they are on it. And they have the whole community backing them up to where they make laws to that if you, up here in Canada, if you make a law, if you say something, anything derogatory against that demographic, you could be fined $25,000, right? So where is it for the N-word? Right? Why don't we have that for the N-word? We don't. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to be like they're triggering me. It's not about triggering me. It's about getting us to stand together and say enough is enough. That's what I'm trying to do.
How, for me, I don't understand how your wherever you into sex wise, I don't care. Men, women, all what go. I don't care. Wherever you, I don't know how that's equal to race. Yeah, I don't understand why how we've allowed it to be equal
exactly
equal to race. It just doesn't make it doesn't equate. I cannot on the outside. You could never not know I'm black. There's nothing I can do before you open your mouth or before you acting. I don't know what you are, you know. But what the difference is, I don't know if I should say this. The difference is. White men aren't black, but white men can be gay, and that's why they allow laws because now they're allowed to be a minority. They're allowed to them because white men could never be a minority because they made all the laws, so they're all the time. It's always a minority, but they've now allowed them to become a minority. So white men now have that power to give laws and say you can't do this, and I'm going to march on this stuff, and it's all because white men are part of that group, and this is their
They want to be
opportunity
oppressed so
to
bad.
become a minority. And now we don't have all these black people coming like, what about me? I know people could be pissed off about that, but I'm just saying it's not equal. We're not. It's not equated. I don't understand how we have allowed however you want, like sex. I don't care. How is that equal to me being black and 400 years of oppression and all that stuff? And I can't change what I am. I wouldn't want to, but I can't change. Why is it on the same level? In some places, it's on a lower level.
Facts.
Get over
that is actually something that Dr. Claude Anderson talked about a lot. That you have to spell it out. If you're talking about what is in the interest of black people, then that's what it has to be. Black people, not gay people, not Eskimo people, not marginalized people. It's like you have to be very specific because we've allowed ourselves to go for this okie doke. And I was talking about this on Flashcast actually a couple of weeks ago, where they were going over this document with the Disney Corporation, where they were talking about how they're going to look out for the interests of the underrepresented. Right now, the underrepresented, everyone is taking this to mean black people, but it can't possibly mean black people because we've allowed ourselves to be lumped in with the LGBTQ, all of this. Ultimately, brothers, in a few years, the underrepresented will be white men, because if you look at the way pop culture is going, this is what they're doing. Now, we knew for a long time that sooner or later, North America will become browner and browner, just naturally. All right. So how better to protect the interest of white people than to start writing these laws now to protect the underrepresented? That is them. And I was saying that on that stream. This is what they're going for. Black Lives Matter, when they first came out on the website, it said that we are for the LGBTQ community, right? And we're against the nuclear family. Now they took that off of the website because people started looking at it and being like, wait a minute, you're against the nuclear family, you're against the patriarchy, you're against all of this stuff, but they're pro LGBTQ. We can't be linked with that, like you were saying. We should not be. So we can't go for that type of thing, man, because we're writing ourselves out of our own script if we continue to do this. You know what I mean? Like, we are the underrepresented. We always have been. We can't be with them. It's not the same.
It's not the
Absolutely.
same.
So we're in danger right now because they know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. We're the ones who keep thinking we gotta.
And you looking at it, and we're looking at it, and we're saying, yeah, we gotta do it. And then we have even black people that are homosexual, gay, or any of that stuff. They are pushing the homosexual agenda,
the narrative,
but not the black narrative, and it blows my mind. And I'm like, do you understand that what you're doing? You're declawing any of your arguments for black people because you want to focus on your sexual orientation. Who the F cares? Do whatever the hell makes you happy. If that's what you're going to do, that's what you're going to do. That's between you and God. That's not nothing to do with me. I don't care. What you want to do is what you want to do. But I'm talking about laws that are discriminating on people before you even know them.
Facts.
I can't change what I am.
They also take our shit, right? Because woke, they weaponize woke to be something totally different than it was when we first started using the word woke, right? So what they do is they take it from us and use it for themselves to be like, hey guys, guess what? We're the ones that are being victimized and we're the ones that are being this, right? It's woke. But the original meaning of woke had to do with us. And I can't stand shit like that. It's really driving me crazy. Yeah. Go ahead.
That woke thing, it's funny because I did a video years ago talking about the 5 terms I wish black people would stop using. And woke was one of them. It was just because woke obviously meant to be aware. It meant to be, just pay attention and everything. And it took on a whole nother thing. It became so overused. It allowed those people who are not serving our interests to do what you're talking about. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because everything was woke, 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 woke. So it became a joke. And just like anything else, people started running with it. So now the whole meaning has been flipped. You know, being woke is being a joke because now it's overcompensating for something, because you have liberals. And remember, Malcolm X warned us about the liberal. You know, you have liberals who are trying to be our savior. You know, they're trying to act like they're fighting for us. So this begins to be reflected in our pop culture. And of course, other people see it, like white guys see it, and they're like, oh, that's woke, because they're going against this liberal ideology. So I give them a little bit of leeway in that way, because I understand, because one of the things that I've been arguing about all of these years is I don't need anyone arguing for me. This is YouTube. I can argue for myself. You know what I mean? We're all here. What we are is what I was talking about hip hop used to be. We're some black men speaking some raw voices here, some raw truths, you know? So in a way, we're taking that concept of hip hop that I was talking about before. If black people had the good sense, a lot of them, to support us on these panels, you know, like we should be playing to thousands of people, you know, because there are millions of people out there who feel the way that we feel, you know. So why? Like, I don't blame people on like other platforms. You know, they're talking everything. They're playing to thousands of people because they're talking to their interest. We're talking to our interest too. Where are our people at? You know, they're doing what they're supposed to do. Nzo, we've talked about this millions of times, you know. So it's like, okay, we're here. Where y'all at? You know, that's the thing.
Facts.
Hey,
And like I said, you know, go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
No, go ahead, bro.
No, I was just saying, and see, that's the thing. Like when we started this, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to, you know, have this voice on YouTube, you know, black voice, and talk about things that depression, all the stuff that we didn't talk about. And, you know, I don't know if it's the algorithm or what. Maybe people don't like my face. I don't know what it is, but it's just, I wish we would have more people watching us like that. You know what I mean?
Bro, come on, man. Look at when you talk about black YouTubers, and it's no disrespect, you know, to anybody else, but the ones that really blow up, and I ain't talking about 500,000 here, 500,000 there. I'm talking about
doing a donkey
2,
shit.
3 million. Yes, exactly. The ones who are out there doing dumb shit, sticking their heads in toilets and all that stuff. It's like those are the ones that's gonna blow up. You know, but if you talking real shit like what we're doing, for some reason it's a hard go, man, because the truth hurts. You know, a lot of us just don't want to hear it. Maybe the pain is too much. You know, but yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do?
Even support, nigga, it's weird because I mean, Oswald knows I did this Black Excellence in Cinema. Like I do it every February. You know, I do it February to March. I talk about all these great black movies and all that stuff, and some hit, some don't. But people don't really want to talk about it. You know, people are afraid of race, and I don't understand why you could be afraid of this conversation. Let's start the conversation. You know, and be okay with what you hear back. Because I would rather someone be honest with me and disagreeing with me than someone who just not going to pay attention or placate to me. No, be honest with me. I want to start the conversation. Let's be real.
Absolutely.
And look, in my experience, bro, off of here, just in real life, you know, I've talked to Italian cats, you know, Irish, you know, all types of stuff. And a lot of times when you get real with them, a lot of them are wondering, like, you know, when are y'all gonna like stand up? You know, when are you gonna do this? You know, it's like like a lot of them on a real level, they know that something is not right, you know, but what are they gonna look like taking the lead? You know, they want to know, what are you gonna do about that? You know what I mean? It's like, y'all are the men. You know, when are you gonna take care of your women? When are you gonna take care of your kids? You know, if we see kids running out in the street, wilding all over the place, that's a reflection on us as men. You know what I mean? And the world sees that. You know, so I have real good dialogue, you know, with men from all different types of walks of life. You know, because I can say to them too, well, why don't you guys start talking about what's going on as far as a corrupt power structure that we all know exists? You know, it's like we can talk about it on this level here, but if you know what the truth is, and we do know what the truth is, like I said, when you get real with them, they know that shit is fucked up. It's like, why aren't you talking up more and stuff like that? Well, I am kind of scared. They get real with you, bro. So it's like that's what people are the most afraid of. Like I know we can do our thing over here and they can do their thing over there, and a lot of people don't like to mix that way, but I don't have a problem with communicating. I don't have a problem with communication, because I've been on some panels, obviously, I've been on Geeks and Gamers. I've been on with Gary from Nerdrotics and stuff like that. For some reason, I still can't get no subs, but I'm on with them, and everything, but I ain't there to clout chase anyway, but the point is that when you get real with people, you understand what that higher power structure is afraid of. They're afraid of men coming together, like all men. That's what the ultimate fear is. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And that's where we get even like with the divide has to stop, right? Because I said this many times with the George Floyd stuff. When we marched, we did our thing, we protested, right? But you had a lot more white people out there protesting than I've ever seen before. And I was like, that is beautiful, because we need help with them, because we're just angry black men. You know what I mean? But when you have their own kind backing us up, then it's like, oh, wait a minute, maybe there's something there. Now, it sucks that it has to be that way, but at the same time, you know what I mean? We need allies as well.
What you're saying is right, because if you really want to talk about the civil rights movement, you really didn't get movement until you got other people involved.
Yeah, that's 100%. Right. Malcolm talked about that as well, towards the end of his life. He realized that, you do have to have cooperation. It's very, very important. So I certainly see the need in that, just to be able to relate as human beings. I think that's what it is. I think when people saw George Floyd dying on camera, I think there was something there that everyone saw it, and it was just like, I don't care who you are. I don't care whether you're white, black, or whatever. Everyone saw it the same way. It's like, what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's a human being, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, you can chant black this and black that, but at the end of the day, there's got to be a human connection. I talk about how back in the civil rights era, you saw the iconic pictures with the brothers holding up signs that says, I am a man. I am a man. They ain't say I am a black man. I am a man. You can see I'm black, but you got to recognize that I'm a man. I'm a human being. I talked about the Million Man March. I saw a white guy out there, and I remember one of the brothers saying, what are you doing out here, man? And the white guy was just, just in friendliness. And the white guy was like, this was called the Million Man March, wasn't it? And it was just like, that was cool. You could appreciate that, like he saw men were meeting as men, and I think there's a lot of power in that, and that's a missing piece. That human thing. Yeah.
There's one thing that we didn't really talk about that I kind of wanted to bring up, because I just want to get this off my chest. I've been saying this for a while.
Go ahead.
Do you not notice since the 1970s, we are the only community that has not increased our population? Do you realize that black people are the only group of people in America that have not increased their population?
Yeah, that's something else that Claude Anderson talked about.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
So what do you think the problems are?
Well, there's a lot of things into it. There's one, of course, there's the idea that there's abortion. There's some or some things in that. There's the fact that black people don't stay married. Black women don't stay married, and so the family doesn't grow as much as they used to. There's a lot of the ideas that in the 90s, early 90s, when they did the ghetto queen kind of idea that, because if the man's out the house, the woman gets a lot more money from the government, when there's not an actual nuclear family together.
Yeah.
So those things have all contributed to it. And then, okay, so I'm a man. I have all sisters and I have all girls. It's important for my wife and my mother. She always said, like, you have to learn how to. A woman has to learn how to be able to have a man lead, let a man lead, and sometimes that's important in the family too. And when women are leading all the families, sometimes it turns black men off, and black men are not getting with black women as much as they are, and our populations are. It's just all these things are contributing to it, and it's very interesting that with all these things, our population is exactly the same as it was in 1970s, and that's 50 years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, you know what? That's a real powerful piece right there, man. You know, we are a matriarchy. You know, if you go to any family reunion, you're going to see mostly black women. You know, if you go any church, any given Sunday, what you're going to see a bunch of black women. You know, so yeah, there's a lot to that, man. There's a lot to that. You know, I talked earlier about the black woman mortality rate. You know, in pregnancy. You know, things like that. We have issues there. Babies not surviving, in bad health. You know, the abortion,
Doctors,
like you said before.
My wife, my second child, my wife said to the doctor, something's not right. Something's not going right. And for an hour, they made her push because the natural pregnancy should just be going through. And then an hour later, they realized, hey, something's not right. We should go rush it to the ER and do surgery. Even though she told them an hour earlier, and that something wasn't right, they didn't listen to her. And ever since then, I've never. I made a decision myself that I'm never going to let a doctor do that to my wife again. But
bro,
if it happened to her, I know it happens to all black women everywhere.
We actually talked about this before you came on. My sister had an issue too, and I hate to tell this terrible one, but it just happened because the point of this is that we have to do better for ourselves, because what happened was this woman, she had gone in, young woman, with her husband, to have the baby. They were happy it was their first baby. There was some type of problem with the delivery, and it was a black woman doctor. Instead of giving her a C-section, instead of doing what needed to be done, she tried to force this baby, to pull the baby out. And I don't have to tell you what ended up happening here. You know what I mean? It's like the baby died. All right. Terribly. Baby came out in two pieces, man. You know what I mean? And she had to give birth to the piece that was still there. And it was a total nightmare.
That's crazy.
And it's like, yeah, it just happened. It just happened. I was going to do a video, but I just couldn't, but the point is that we got to do better, man. It's like, we got to do better for ourselves, because, if we're saying that this is a systemic issue, a white supremacy issue, or anything like that people might say, I'm looking at this situation here where it was a black woman, and I went on the website. It's a practice of black women. This is historic. They're there for the reason of addressing the problems with black women, and this is what ends up happening. Like, we got to do better, man. We got to see ourselves as human beings. Why would you do that? So it's a deep
funny.
problem, man.
The same thing that with my wife, the guy who he was a OBGYN, he's one of the best in Chicago. He really is. He's a great doctor. But to the point is, I know better. He's like, I know better. I don't have to listen to you. It's almost like dehumanizing the mother that's there, not listening. And healthcare itself is not made for black people. Why are so many the proportion of black people diabetic? Why do we have hypertension? Why is everything in the healthcare system made to make it more expensive for those type of diseases? Why is it so expensive to do? Because it's more important, more money in the cure. I mean, in the treatment than the cure. And and it keeps our population low.
Yes.
You know what? We're getting hit on so many different fronts. It's crazy.
Now that you guys mentioned that, my wife, nurse, came in when she was going through delivery, and she said, "Baby's not coming out. I think the cord may be wrapped around her neck." Sometime later, waiting on the doctor. Doctor comes in. Nurse told her that. My wife told her that. Oh, we're gonna still try to push her. We're gonna keep pushing.
Oh,
that's two people telling you it's a possibility that cord's wrapped around her neck.
That's crazy.
God bless. In time, took her to surgery to do a C-section. But when she came out, she wasn't breathing. So I'm having to keep my wife calm. I'm trying to keep myself calm at the same time. First thing my wife said, "Why isn't she crying? Why I'm not hearing any crying?" And she finally got her breath and started. And it almost
Right.
chokes me up right now, but these are multiple
Mm-hmm.
stories of Black women have gone through the same thing. See, back in the day, we had a midwife
Right.
that would
Mm-hmm.
come in and deliver the babies.
Mm-hmm.
Even during slavery, the Black midwife would come in, deliver those babies, because the doctors would always be killing the babies. But that
Facts.
Black mother would come in and the baby would come out fine, Black or white. So
Oh,
we need to get
yeah.
back to our roots, who we are as a people, right? And when we do that, then maybe we can push on and better ourselves. And
That's
until that,
interesting.
we will always be, like you said, at the bottom of the totem pole.
Well, see,
Absolutely.
here's the point. Just real quick, 'cause I know it's getting late, and actually, I
Yeah.
see he's still up. I got to do something over there. But
Yeah, we can close
I
soon.
know earlier, Danny made the point about integrating and learning, like having access to like certain things and all of that. Sometimes I wonder if we didn't learn the wrong things. Like when you
Mm-hmm.
have a system where you can damage a young Black mother or a baby that way. We've learned how to abort our children. When I look at the story last year of Tyree Nichols, who was beaten to death by
Mm-hmm.
5 Black cops, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Yep.
Like, there's a
Mm-hmm.
fucking
Mm-hmm.
problem, man. There's a fucking
Mm-hmm.
issue.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like having
Mm-hmm.
us represent us in the streets should have been a good thing,
Mm-hmm.
or it should be a good thing. Something like that should not happen. Now, I'm
Yeah, they
not saying
taught you
there
that
aren't.
you're blue. You're not black. You're blue.
Yeah,
Keep throwing that
in all too many cases, right? And this is coming from somebody, as I come from a law enforcement family. My father, my brother, and things like that. But they would be the first ones to tell you. My brother used to crack me up. He's since passed away, but I remember he used to go to work and he would be blasting, "Yeah, and you don't stop because it's 187 on the." I'm like, you realize you're a cop, right? You know what I mean? But he would be the first person to tell you cops ain't shit. My father definitely would too.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They did it obviously for a job and stuff, but we got to look at stuff like that, man.
Mm-hmm. The good cops will always tell you that there's cops out there that ain't shit. You know what I mean? And when you if your father was saying, "Oh yeah, no, all cops are good," then you'd be like having to call bullshit, right? But the fact that your
Yeah.
father was a good cop and he knew, he let you know straight up, like, "Listen, man, some of these motherfuckers ain't shit. I work with them every day, so I know." You know what I mean? That's respect. That's respect.
Hey, that's one thing I wanted to say before. Black women, when you're getting pregnant, my sister's pregnant right now. Get you a doula, because the job of a doula is not about the baby. The hospital's job is the baby. The doula is about the mother, and the mother needs an advocate in that room. And
That's right.
as much as I love to say I'm in that room, I'm gonna fight for my wife, I am ignorant to certain things. They tell me you should push. I don't know. I don't know how much I need to just push my wife to do stuff and not necessarily, support her what she needs. Doula will tell you, no, this is not right. No. So Black women need that in that operating room when you're having those babies. So if you have opportunity, if you have the means, get a doula.
Absolutely. Because they didn't even tell me that my son's shoulder got dislocated during birth and the cord was wrapped around his neck. Which I saw that when he came out, but they didn't tell me that, like, they basically broke his collarbone. But I mean, he's a baby, so but they didn't tell me. They didn't say, they ain't say nothing. And then with my daughter, they sent me home while I was in the middle of labor. It wasn't active labor, but I'm like, this is my second pregnancy. I dilate. It's strange. Like, I go from 4 to 6 within minutes, and then it'll take me a while to get up to 10. Like, that's just how it is. And they was like, "Well, you're not progressing fast enough, and it's been an hour." So they sent me home. By the time we got back to the hospital, I was at 10 centimeters.
Oh my God! You
Luckily,
almost had the baby in the car.
I absolutely almost did. If my water would have broken the car, we would have had to deliver her in the car.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Shit,
people are not. They're not there for Black women. They're not there for you.
They're not.
You need someone to be an advocate for you.
My younger sister is banned from a hospital because her dude threatened the ER because they wasn't listening to her. He was like, if something happened to her, then
all
I'm
y'all
gonna
did.
fuck all this shit.
He
Yeah,
did
so
right. He did right.
they're banned from a
He
certain
did right.
hospital.
He stood up for his woman.
That's
That's
the
what we
same thing
need to
I said.
do.
I said, and that's how we was supposed to go. Because if something happened to
Facts.
her, we was gonna fuck all them up. You right?
Facts.
You fucking
Yo,
down.
he did a John Q. He did a John Q on him. You know what I mean? That's what's up.
Facts.
That's what's up.
Oh man. With that being said, guys, it was a great show. Thank you to the panel for coming on. Great topics. The chat was in there. Thank you, guys. Brian, where can they find you, sir?
Hey, I'm Brian the Grizzly. You see me on Spoiler Kings. We go live on Mondays and Thursdays. I'm doing a few things right now. We're doing the Oscars. We're doing a Black Excellence. Actually, Anzo, I've had Danny on talking about movies and cinema, and I finally got the group that been doing some comic book reviews because I got so many of these. So I am happy the way we're going. So check us out as much as we can. Spoiler Kings.
Absolutely. I'm sorry, Chill. I just now seen your message. I had no idea that you sent it to me. I'm sending you to the link now. But you gotta. I don't always check Twitter, right? So I don't always see the messages. You have my number. You need to
There
text
he
me,
is.
brother. You need
That's
to
so
text me.
rude, bro.
I am so sorry. I did not see the fact that you sent that. And he sent it at 6:25 too. So that's crazy.
Damn.
There's a person who you didn't recognize, okay? I said, "Oh, there's a hero." Okay, he said it's the child. No. It's a guy named TJ from the '90s. Some of you old enough to know who he is. Some of you don't know who he is, and it's okay. We're gonna educate you guys. I should say old enough. I should say young enough to know who he is. Anyone want to take a guess before I release who this TJ is?
No, you gotta let me know because I have no idea.
TJ Detweiler.
No,
my
no.
Reset.
We got the red. Man. And I'm not kidding when I tell you this, but you're looking for a leader. You're young. You don't know anything about race. You don't know anything about world history. You just know that somebody right now is the lead. Because we had Zach. He was the Black Ranger in the original.
He had to dance every time he had to do something.
Top keto.
You know, there was no leaders. But then a hero comes along and he says, you know what? Give me that, Tommy. I'm going to take the red morpher. I'm going to become the Turbo Ranger red. And he's leading. And to a generation of youth before the difficult conversations about what happened 400 years ago, why there's a little bit of prejudice happening in your world, why is the people on the cereal box only a certain hue? Why are the big, you know what? It didn't matter. The big movies, all the other TV shows, because when you watch Power Rangers for 50 episodes for one whole season, TJ, their actor's name is Selwyn Ward. You know what he did? You know how successful this man was? I got something else to share. Play it.
I just say this. I'm a little bit older than you guys, so I had no idea about this guy because I was getting
Barack Obama, a black president. Was there a black president before I was the leader of the Power Rangers? Wait a minute, are you trying to say that you being leader of the Power Rangers helped open the door for a black man to be president? Ah, you're getting it. Because I'm Selwyn Ward, first black leader of the Power Rangers.
Selwyn Ward. Salute. I couldn't let the stream end.
Good job.
I believe I forgot about him.
I love it.
I can't believe I forgot about him.
Yeah, James, you should have known.
I know. I remember now, but I'm like, in space. Who the hell is he talking about? I'm Googling people, astronauts and shit. I don't know who you're talking
Because he went in space in the next season, Power Rangers in Space.
Yeah,
I think, and I don't want to speak for anybody, but I think Mark was probably on my level too. Like we were out there, you know what I mean? We were getting boom boom. We weren't,
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
you know
bro.
what I mean?
We wasn't looking at no Power Rangers, bro.
Hey, don't get me wrong. I watched Power Rangers as long as I could, but I'm 40. So
okay, look,
I was mad because they didn't update the special effects. I was like, they still just setting off fireworks and jumping.
Oh my god. Nadia, where can they find you in LOWKEY? Oh, absolutely, 100%. Nadia, where they can find you in LOWKEY?
You can find me in LOWKEY in the LOWKEY cave. Tomorrow we're supposed to be doing the Mia Coppola, the Tyler Perry movie. Oh
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we're reviewing that, and then I know Schoolboy Q's supposed to be dropping an album on Friday, so we'll probably do beats and mics.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And
He was
stay
playing for
away
Jay-Z
from.
on yesterday.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I was gonna say stay away from the verses because they're biased and they don't want like you know what I mean. They want to cheat and anyway. I know if that motherfucking shit was on my channel, I would have won. But anyways, Chill, thank you. Again, I apologize, Chill. Had I known you sent that earlier, you would have definitely been on. I just seen it, and you were in the chat for so long, and you only now asked for the link. So
no, because some people they have their panels set up, and there was already 6 people, and then Danny left, and then comes Brian, and I didn't want to do that. So, and I just needed Selwyn Ward, the first leader of the Power Rangers, who's black, to be recognized. That's all I needed. I didn't care about all the other stuff, reparations, all that stuff. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Power Rangers.
and what is
Run
it?
me
Chill?
my check.
It's original representation, right?
Right, because he was there in the 10-year anniversary. He returned to the show for the 20-year anniversary. TJ is a constant.
Mark with the C, where can they find you, sir?
On my channel, Mark with a C. I do all types of funky stuff. And of course, you can catch me with my brothers, the Dark Council. We are on Fatal J's channel, the notorious Fatal J. So you can come on through. We talk about all stuff. Pop culture, try to sprinkle in some of this real stuff, you know, like what we have going on here. And I really thank you for having me on. And remember, guys, Black history is all the time. You know what I mean? It's like it ain't just 1 month. It's like it's us. It's us. It's how we live. It's who we are. So just carry that with you. Be proud. Keep your head up, and you get all types of good stuff like that on my channel. So come check me out.
Rock on.
Absolutely. JG, you are up.
Yo. Catch us Wednesday nights on the O.O.C with Nzo, aka the Abbott and the Osiris of the shit, the Split King and the Professor of Ganja. And please, everybody, check out Mark with a C, blacker than Ace of Spades, and twice as militant, alongside Chillmonger, long hair, don't care. Always doing great things. Nadia, 1/2 of the LOWKEY Cave, the freestyle queen, spitting the fire and brimstone on all you suckers. And Brian the Grizzly, the real Bruce Banner, not the MCU BS.
Woo! And with that being said, guys, thank you everybody for popping into the chat. Thank you to my panel. I think we had a really great conversation tonight. You know what I mean? And I hope people go back and watch the replay and listen to the stuff that we said. Because like Mark said, Black History Month is all the time, but at least we get to celebrate it and, you know, have a focus on us for at least a month, you know, even though it is the shortest month, but at least we have that. You know, but
you got an extra day this year.
Yes, we did.
We did.
29.
Facts. But again, thank you. I love you guys. I wouldn't be able to do any of this without you guys there, man. And everybody that comes and chills with me. You could do whatever else you want to do, but you here chilling with us. Thank you very much. Peace. We out.
Lift me up, hold me down, keep me close, safe and sound.